2.
She used to be an actress.
Did she ever do anything I would have saw?
I think her biggest deal was she starred in a pilot.
What's a pilot?
Well, you know the shows on TV.
I don't watch TV.
Yes, but you are aware there's an invention called television, and on that invention they show shows.
Yeah.
Well, the way they pick the shows on TV is they make one show, and that show's called a pilot. And they show that one show to the people who pick the shows, and on the strength of that one show, they decide if they want to make more shows. Some get accepted and become TV programs. Some don't, become nothing. She started one of the ones that became nothing.
Came in hot and cocky on that, didn't you?
Never missed a word on that.
You got Tuckley stuff ready?
Oh, shit. Go. Nope.
I'll co-host.
Welcome to Couch Pilots. All of you are my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television, pilots of the past. My name is Jason, and with me is the man who leaves me in tatters each Christmas. It's Captain Philip Restisher. Good evening, I love you.
I love you too, Jason.
Now, for weak-eared listeners at home, they may think that's Captain Philip Restisher. That's not. That's a different guy. You're a different guy.
I co-hosted the program for about three
chunks, but it was a total of 6 episodes.
6 episodes.
You were a great co-host when I needed you.
Yeah, that's me. It's Kebmo Slice. I'm back in the cut.
I slipped back into the cut and let my get explode, right?
That's pretty much it. You know what? I actually just wanted to do the intro part. I'm out of here.
All right.
Hello, I love you too, buddy. Thanks for being here.
All right, see ya.
All right, we need
Reverse knock.
What was I?
You were the man who leaves me in tatters each Christmas. You leave me in tatters. Tatter.
Tada bing bang.
Christmas time, Blake. It's in 5 days from today, of course, at the time of this release.
It's coming out the 20th?
This come out the 19th.
Yep.
Monday the 19th.
Monday 19th.
What are you doing? This is the first Christmas that your mom's going to have without her husband. He just died. How's that going to go?
We're just basically going to have her come over here, probably.
Just spend a lot of time with her.
Just spend time with her, yeah.
That's good. It's tough.
Yeah, she's doing pretty good.
Are you winded?
Yeah.
Did you just
Hella
go
winded.
up one flight of stairs and then come down one flight of stairs?
You took off in the plane, and I had to.
I
had to climb up the little ladder thing.
There was no half hour of preamble eating pizza. That's right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, shame on me for not being ready. I'm sorry.
It's funny you mentioned that. The other day, I went over to her house, and she was like, "Me and Jim didn't have any wills." I was like, "Oh, you're stupid fucking people, then."
That's a bad idea,
right? And I can talk to my mom that way. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, "Well, but I'm doing it now, and this is what's going on." And she goes through all this stuff, like the house. There's this account,
right?
All this, these are the people that are going to be in charge of all this stuff. And every time she would finish with one thing, she would look at me, like waiting for a response. And then I said, "Okay." And then she would go to the next thing, and she's like, "Are you okay with that?" I was like, "It's not. I don't fucking care, right?
It's not my will.
It's not my will.
It's literally not my will."
Just like Jesus said, "This is not my will." But I was like,
Jesus did say that. We should be clear.
But I think
it was in red in the Bible. That's how we know he said it.
I think
You know what else Jesus said?
What?
When they hung him on the cross?
Ouch!
Good Lord. Kevin is a devout Catholic, and he loves that.
So at the end of it,
ouch is universal, by the way. He was clearly Arabic or spoke Hebrew, but
for sure. He
ouch,
was Jewish. He was Jewish.
Ouch covers the whole spectrum.
Right.
So at the end of this, then she starts talking about have to have some oral surgery. She's got some issues, and she has to have.
Well, what's her nickname?
Whoa.
She's the blowjob queen.
So if you're
Right, but
if you're a 65-year-old blowjob queen, you're gonna need some dental work.
Yeah, she got some bone coming out. No pun intended.
It's not going in this time, huh?
But I said, how much is this going to cost? And she's like, well, it's going to be like $6,000. And I looked at her and said, no. I said, we are not putting new parts into this old classic automobile. I was like, I'm in charge of this money now. You ain't doing that shit. Deal with it. And she looked at me like I was the worst son ever. And I go, I'm still not the worst son ever. She's doing good.
Blake's brother's a huge piece of shit.
Yeah,
So, context.
He's been kissing super ass lately.
Oh,
Merry Christmas, I guess, is the.
Wow.
No, but we're getting my mom special attention, just and invite her to.
It's the first Christmas without her husband.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's. I hope it's a wonderful Christmas for you. Your mother's always been very sweet to me, and I know we called her recently on the show, and she was very nice and talked openly about some stuff. Let's go ahead and you introduce our guest. I'm gonna play some music. You got to introduce them both.
Goodness gracious! I want to hear the music first. Oh,
double duty.
yeah. We should do that podcast again. Not this one. All right. First off, we have a gentleman who we just had a conversation right before we got on mic about you coming to the town. We've told it before about meeting at a Buffalo Wild Wings, me saying how hot your wife was, and we've been podcasting friends, and I would dare to say good friends as well outside of podcasting.
More than good friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
His son's named after me.
Not at all.
Oh, all right. Let's welcome to the mic Kebmo Slice. Welcome, buddy.
Hey, thanks. I just ran back down here. I had to intro the show, but I did host this podcast. I did co-host this for 6 episodes.
And yes, and you also were the cook tonight. You did some cooking tonight.
Oh, man. My job was very difficult.
Yeah. You actually burned yourself, I think.
Yeah, I burned myself. I called myself a piece of shit.
And I said...
I burned myself.
I said, have you never used a pizza cutter? And what did you say?
I said, I usually use scissors.
Because you're super hella stupid.
Scissors, I think, is kind of smart.
Really?
Sometimes.
All right. All right. Also, you heard him last week.
Fucking music off, Jesus Christ.
You heard him last week. He has been on the show a couple times now. I would say the man of Peoria, for sure.
MLP.
At least the man of La Mancha.
There you go.
Bless you. I don't know what La Mancha means.
Don Quixote.
What is that?
It's the Portuguese of the sandwich.
Marty, welcome back to the show,
Thank
buddy.
you. Appreciate you guys having me on.
You heard him real loudly say, ouch, earlier.
That was my Jesus joke. I went to Catholic school, Catholic grade school.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been beaten up by so many nuns, but when I was in the 8th grade, you had to sit next to somebody. Well, my partner, it was around Easter, and I drew a cartoon, and it was Jesus on the crucifix, but he had a giant heart on. And above it said, Christ has risen again.
Oh, there you go.
And I showed it to my partner. She made a noise, and the Sister Carol Ann. What is going on back there? She got the cartoon. Why they never called my parents, I'll never know. But I went to the principal. She beat the shit out of me.
Sure.
They took me to the priest. They beat me up. I got beaten up by like everybody in that school.
Was it a boner covered by a loincloth?
No, it was just
A full on display erection.
right.
All right.
A naked boner. Well,
Right.
that's where you went wrong. If it would have been covered, then a little fewer lashings.
That's the Shroud of Turin, right?
Yeah, the Shroud of Turin
Is what
got a
covered
big
Christ
mushroom
or-
stamp on it.
I mean, he wanted it that way. It's Jesus. He could have put a cover. He just could have like blinked, like
He wanted to in your interpretation. He
Right.
wanted it that
Well,
way.
that's okay. That raises a good question. Kevin probably more than any of us, and I don't know. I can't say for sure about Marty, but you know a lot about Christianity and Catholicism and the Bible.
I'm the expert, yeah. And when I say the expert, I don't mean in the room. I mean the ultimate expert.
I literally flunked religion my senior year.
Well, okay. So Jesus, they said he performed miracles, water into wine.
Sure.
Right.
He walked on water. You know, I've seen David Blaine do it. Whatever. But what were were there extents to Christ's superpowers?
Yeah, it was one of them was flight. Not many people know that.
Okay.
He would
Mind bullets?
Yeah, mind bullets. So you hear about the stork? That was actually Jesus Christ.
Storks who deliver babies?
He brings babies to people.
So before he was born,
He never put one in the corner though.
he never put a stork in the corner. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
You know how like there's all these things like, oh, Mary was assumed and have the assumption. Oh, Jesus, he was just born of the Virgin Mary, whatever, these
Right.
miracles. He was actually the stork, and then his body became a baby. So when he was laid in the manger, because the stork was like, oh, this looks like a good place to lay down. No, he was the stork. He was the original stork.
So why wasn't Jesus nice enough to get Mary a hotel room? Like why did he spring for it?
No room at the inn.
He did. He still is. He was cash poor. Yeah, quite a few.
He was a carpenter.
He was cash poor.
He had no liquid
Cash poor.
assets.
No liquid assets.
They're all tied up in hay.
And Bitcoin and hay.
They're tied up in big hay.
Doge hay.
Now that we're all officially going to hell.
He's got his pockets lined
All
with
of it,
big hay money.
all of his ruples were tied up in mangers. Manger.
Speaking of mangers,
when has
Christmas
anyone,
is coming up, guys.
A couple days from now. When has anyone ever in their entire life referenced a manger outside of Jesus being born in one? Who's ever been to a manger?
Well, it's when people get the when they're. Okay, this is going to take a while.
Please,
but I'm gonna,
hold on.
Get ready for it.
Hold on, we'll give you some music.
Hey,
I'm gonna lay down.
Here we go. Hey, I just moved to Arlington, Texas. I'm from Seattle. Man, I love baseball. How about them mangers? Mangers.
That took a long time.
It was really worth it.
It took a long time. It was not good.
I'm really nervous because I'm sitting across the table from one of my heroes. I do want to talk. I do want to talk about this.
He's not blowing smoke up your ass, by the way.
Let me know when I can unleash.
Well, thanks.
Well,
I mean,
I wanted to kickstart some conversation with Marty because we talked last week about the fire and a few other things that happened to him. But this week, I really wanted to focus on the work that he's doing outside. He said 10 years now for Meanwhile Back in Peoria, 10-year anniversary. But now in the past year, you've been working on midwife
crisis.
Better call the
YouTube.
Midwest Slice of Life.
Yeah, there you go.
Your YouTube
it's easy
series.
for you to
It's the
say.
first time you've ever did this?
Yeah, today.
No.
Second time I've done it today, actually.
But it's your YouTube series about visiting local haunts, and you threw a Domino's pizza in there for some reason. I don't know why you did that, but a lot of mom and pop places,
Right.
And even frozen pizzas you did and tenderloins.
That was the first two seasons were pizza. Oh, you need to get a little closer
Yeah,
there. How's that?
That's good.
Have you ever seen the One Bite Everybody Knows the Rules guy?
Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
Barstool Sports.
And like the very first, or even maybe the promo episode for your new series, you mentioned Dave Portnoy.
I wanted
as
to
an
give him
inspiration.
credit because that's where I got the idea from. As I mentioned last week, I've had stuff stolen from me where you never get credit. So I did. I started watching those. I thought, God, it would be fun to do like a local version of this.
Totally.
And so in the beginning, it was going to be pizza, but then I said to Dan, the guy that I do with, after 2 seasons of that, I'm like, let's move on to another one. It's called Midwest Slice of Life. That doesn't have to be pizza.
You don't tie
Pizza
yourself
works
down.
really well with it, but it could be anything.
Yeah, we're doing tenderloins now. We did 1 season. We're in the 2nd season of that. I'm actually going to take the whole show over, and I've learned how to do some editing in that. So there may be a 1 or 2 week pause in it. We didn't put one up this week. We've got one next week, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a whole new thing for me to learn. Like to learn the video editing, and it's kind of like when I started doing the blog. I had no idea how to do that, and you kind of learn as you go.
Yeah.
And the fun thing for me is, like, meeting you today, is I have met so many people in the last 10 years. I mean, when I think back, to like, I started blogging in 2009, 2010, I did the 365 Bars blog. I would love to know how many people I have talked to in these 12 years.
Oh, God.
Well, and my whole life for the last 12 years is online.
Yeah.
So it's strange. Some nights I'll be home drinking beer, and I'll go in addition to the 365 Bars blog, when I was in New York, I did one then called Marty After Dark, where I just went to places at night.
S&M bars?
Huh?
S&M bars?
Anything. Go on there and you'll see. It was New York City.
Yeah.
Get a rope.
Yeah.
Then I did one called Tripping with Marty, where I take these little trips around New York. No, the tripping with Marty, that took place in the 70s.
Okay.
That wasn't a blog.
That wasn't a blog back then?
Gotcha.
No, that was a lifestyle. So, yeah, all the people that I've met, because my blog, which I do think kind of sets it apart, a lot of people that write in that aren't like outgoing people. I know a lot of writers.
A lot of people that write in what?
Just write, period.
Oh, right. Okay.
They
okay.
write because
Sure.
they don't like talking to people. It is something with writers. I'm the exception to that rule. So I like going out, but you won't see a lot of blogs where people are talking, especially to strangers in that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Just to go up. It's something I had to get used to when I started the 365 Bars blog. That was really tough in the beginning to walk up to people. I made a business card. I'd be
you
like,
go.
hey, I'm going to 360. And 90% of the people really got into it. I mean, I had a few problems here and there.
Do you feel like the business card gave you legitimacy?
It did.
Okay.
And because a lot of people
Sure
are
it
like,
did.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
And no, it really works. And I've got one today, for
Yeah.
meanwhile back in Peoria.
Sure.
But I kind of learned how to go up to strangers, how to go into a strange place and kind of become the life of the party. So it's been a really fun experience.
That's all you got at the end of the day. You are only a collection of your own experiences. When they throw you in the ground, that's all you have. And and just you cross your fingers and hope to God you don't suffer from dementia or Alzheimer's where you lose your mind. That's all you have is your experiences. And I tell you what, I do have friends close to me that it is pulling teeth to get them out of the house. And I love my house. I curate it very well, but I love getting out of my house.
I do
I
too.
love going and doing shit because those are the experiences. Those are the things that elongate your life.
Right.
You sit in your house every day, time goes so quick. You slow it down a little bit by having new experiences, and I think you are you're the flagship member of that club.
Well, thanks. I mean, there's a song by the Everly Brothers. It's called Stories We Could Tell. It was written by John Sebastian of Love and Spoonful. And a line in there, I think it just kind of sums up life in that. It says, and if you ever wonder why you ride this carousel, you did it for the stories you could tell.
Right.
Yeah, and
There
it
you
is.
go.
True.
It is. It's like, that's why I've always really appreciated people coming to my Marty monologue show. I haven't done one in a while. But it's just me standing there telling stories, and I'm lucky enough to have. I just have had a lot of stuff happen to me in my life, and I feel grateful for that. But I kind of made that all happen.
Exactly. So I.
Oh, you gotta
found
tell
out-
the story now.
I need to tell you
Yeah,
how
I
I
wanna
found
hear
out
this.
about the Marty Wambacher. Okay. I had just moved to Peoria. This about 6 years ago, and like I was telling you earlier, I'm not from Peoria. So
You can tell by your accent.
yeah, right. hey, go Bears.
How do you say pretzel?
Prinzel.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna lie. That's the way you're supposed to say it. All these other fucking people.
I just eat a lot of hot dogs and talk about Dickie Portillo all the time. So I come down here and I'm working this job where it's a lot of screen time, just not really doing much. And I subscribed to the Journal Star, and I saw this thing pop up, and it was Tartar Source with David
Right.
Tartar.
Steve Tartar.
Steve Tartar, that's his name. And he's
Great catcher. Great catch.
Well, Steve actually wrote for my magazine, People of Peoria, way back in the day.
So it was a podcast that he had
Right.
started, and it was just on the first few episodes or something. And you came on, and I said, "What a great opportunity to learn about Peoria." You know, Tartar Source. It's a
Right.
local Peoria guy, and it seems like just from the brief description, this guy's a local Peoria guy too.
He is.
And I heard you tell your abridged version of your life story, basically, on that very show.
Oh, funny.
And, you got into Meanwhile Back in Peoria, of course, and, the New York story. So when I say every time, I'm like, oh, trust me, I know. Oh, trust me, I know. Because I kind of did this deep dive because I was fascinated with this person who is going to be, for lack of a better term, my guide into Peoria.
Thank you. I
Coming
really
back, you know what
appreciate
I mean?
that. Yeah.
Because Jason is a perfect person to ask, hey, where do I get Mexican from? But, I did not know these guys at that point.
Right.
And
You're lost, am I right?
I know.
You're talking about Mexican food.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I said Mexican food. Or did I say just
Mexican
Mexican?
hookahs.
I mean, I can help you with that too. I don't know.
Hey.
But you were where I first learned about Chicago Grill, which was right by where I was working at the time.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, it's Chicago Grill. This is what I want. I want an Italian beef. I want a gyro.
Right.
I want a hot dog, a Chicago dog. So those blog posts, and I've just I can't say that I've read it every day since then, but
Nobody does.
I keep up with it,
Well,
and then I
thanks.
keep up on the Facebook, and I saw Midwest Slice of Life. Just because I follow you on Twitter, I think you plugged it or something, and I've been watching every single episode. I keep telling Jason, I'm like, yeah. But you see Marty's thing, he's like, oh, I gotta watch it.
I'm all caught up now.
I know he's all caught up, but like I would tell him like, oh yeah. Did you see where Marty went? He's like, yes, I gotta watch that. I can watch it. But I'm a subscriber, so I see it. It pops up, and I see it, and I watch every single one. My wife, I put it on TV. She goes, oh, this fucking guy again. Huh?
You know what's funny is way back, it was at the grocery store over where Target is now. It's since it's closed. I forget what it was. But
Cub Foods?
Maybe. I used to go
yeah.
there, and I think my blog was just about a year old at the time. I'm going down the aisle, and this woman does like a double take at me, and she came up, and she's like,
I want to suck your dick. Oh.
No.
Sorry.
She's like, you're the guy that does that Peoria blog, right? And I said, yeah. She's like, my husband has a man crush. She was like pissed.
Yeah.
She said, my husband has like a man crush on you. Every day I have to hear, oh, look at what Marty's doing.
What Marty
look at that.
Yeah.
He says your name during our lovemaking.
Yeah, right. But I know,
Marty.
I'll tell you and everybody out there who reads the blog, looks at the YouTube video, I really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you.
Well, that's cool. It's like somebody listening to my podcast.
Exactly.
Like, I don't expect anybody to, but it's like when I do get that feedback on Twitter, especially from our listener in Omaha, Nebraska, or Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Those two guys that immediately come to mind, and I'm like, these people know pretty much my life, and it's so cool that I get to like share that with somebody. And you guys, same thing. Australia, it's reached all the way over there.
Right.
England, foreshadowing. It reached
Nice.
all the way over there. But it's just really cool. I told Jason, I said, you've seen me starstruck before. You're going to see me starstruck again. Well, it's just because I know your whole thing, and it's super cool to be in the same room. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to blow too much smoke up your ass.
We were saying before this on last week's episode, I'm like, all this is really nice because there was a period in my life. I said, when I would show up with my friends, I hung out with the stoner crowd in high school that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
And we'd show up and be like, no, you guys got to go.
All right,
There's no party for you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave.
Well, yeah. That meanwhile, back in Peoria, I'll just see every once in a while on Facebook when you throw up the blog or whatever.
Right.
I'll look at it, and just today or yesterday, when you went on Saturday to that new place downtown for the
Euro
Euro,
was so good.
I'm like, I fucking love
Loaded
Euros.
Mediterranean. Is that what it's called?
Loaded, yeah. So I want to go there.
It's funny you bring that up because I saw that post and it makes me think, Marty, do people just know you and that's how you're in tune? Do people contact you? Do people reach out to you for these things? How do you keep in the vein of new things happening in Peoria? Where do you find those things?
What happened with that? I was just driving up Main Street and I saw it. There used to be a Thai restaurant in there.
There's been about 10 things in there, but
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I saw it and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll go there on Saturday night. And the owner, he wouldn't let me take his photo for whatever reason. But he was a super, and he had no idea what the blog was.
Sure.
And he even said to me, I gave him a card and there was nobody in there.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is a blog? And I'm like, it's like an online journal. And I said, just trust me.
It's the newspaper on the internet.
Yeah. I said, trust me, you'll get a lot of business out of this. So.
I consider me one of those people.
It put it on the map for me. I seriously didn't know about it, and that makes me think: how does Marty find out about these things?
I just really keep my eyes open, and when I see something new, I just go there.
Yeah, and it just speaks to. And we were talking off mic how people are like, oh, with the the People of Peoria magazine or whatever. It just people, oh, you're painting Peoria. No, you're shedding light on things. Period.
Yeah, Peoria. I haven't heard that about my blog. People have all been pretty positive.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's you're giving everybody a spotlight.
I mean, back when I did my People of Peoria magazine, that was 1990 to 93. There was no internet. People were a lot more uptight.
Yeah.
And but it was really. I said off air, I'm like, people that like say, oh, I hate Peoria. It's like, then just go.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it. There was a period, and it was that period where I thought, you know what? I've had it with this city. I'm going to go to New York. Yeah. And if I could just up and move to New York, anybody can.
Yeah. Go to Rockford.
I can't go.
Right?
But I mean,
you don't like Peoria?
It's not even a lateral move.
Yeah, move an hour and a half north.
I usually, when I hear that from people, it's people that don't really have a life anyway.
Yeah,
wherever.
exactly.
Well, I remember in New York, I would hear people say, oh, there's nothing to do here anymore.
Okay.
Like, this is New York City. It has gotten gentrified. I mean, I've become the guy that I hated when I moved there. When I moved there in 1993, all you would, especially when you're there for less than a year, you'd meet somebody in a bar. And so do you live in the city?
Yeah.
Because that's a big deal. Because if you live in Brooklyn or the Queens, then the people in the city look down on you.
Yeah.
There's just real Manhattan snobbery, and I kind of got into that. But anyway, I'd be like, no, yeah, I live here in the city. How long you lived in New York? I've been here like 6 months. And then they'd always give you this look like,
All right. See ya.
Good luck to you.
Right.
And
See
I
ya
always
later.
say, you should have been here in the 70s. You should have been in the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah,
That's when it was really New York. But I've become that person. The other couple years ago when I went there, I met
Oh, yeah,
some...
you go back and visit.
oh,
Yeah, sure.
Well, I was in a bar. I was going to meet some friends, but there was a younger couple there. I don't know. We just started talking. And they're like, do you live here? And so I just kind of roped them right into this. I said, no, I live in Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah.
Peoria, Illinois? Do you even know how to get around in New York? And I said, yeah. They're like, oh, yeah? I said, yeah, I lived here for 19 years.
Yeah.
How long have you guys lived here? Oh, 4 years. But then I became the guy that I hated. I'm like, you should have been here in the 90s.
You have to. Yeah.
It's just a freshman becoming the senior.
Yeah.
That's exactly
And
what
that's
it
all
is.
That is what it is, but it was in the 90s at least. It was the last bastion of the old school New York. Times Square was still really seedy.
Well, pre
Is,
9/11.
is that good?
Pre 9/11, right?
Yeah,
It is good?
I mean, it was like Taxi Driver, that kind of feel.
It's cool to watch like De Niro walk through it, but is it cool for me to walk through it? Like,
it was for me. I
okay,
loved it.
I love seeing that old shit, but I feel like it'd be terrifying to be in New York in the 80s or 90s, or the 70s or 80s.
Well, I mean, you just got to kind of watch what you're doing. I was there for 19 years. And I worked nights, so I'm riding the subway 4, 5, 6 in the morning.
If you're looking for trouble, you can find it, right?
well, you just got to.
He was working nights, though. Well, you never had any
true.
problems?
Never.
Never any problem. Well, that's
The
good.
funniest time on a subway, I told this story the other day. It's like and back then, before Giuliani, not to get political, but everybody in New York hated Giuliani.
Yeah.
And before he came in and he tightened a lot of stuff up, you could buy a beer, and if it was in a brown paper bag, the cops didn't care.
Sure.
So always on my way home, I would I called it the oil can. I'd get a can of Foster's beer.
We call it a helping can. Here. Right, Blake?
Yep.
Call it a helping can.
I'd get a
can.
big can of Foster's and drink that on my way home. Well, this night it's like 4 a.m. Some homeless guy with a cup walking up and down the subway. Spare change, spare change. He came up to me, spare change. I'm like, sorry, I'm just getting by myself.
Yeah.
And then he emptied the cup out. He said, can I have some of your beer? So I did pour some. And
hell
everybody,
yeah.
Into his dirty coin can?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I poured some in there. Well, thanks, man. And a guy across in a seat, he's like, I'm a native New Yorker, and I've never seen that in my life. I felt good.
I would 100% I would be on both sides of those. I would do either one of those. I would drink out of a coin-stained cup, and I would also pour beer into that coin-stained cup. That's great.
So you're in the middle of season 4 of Midwest Slice of Life.
Right.
You're talking about tenderloins.
I literally almost cooked and brought a tenderloin here.
That's how dedicated he is.
I almost, but then I
Well,
forgot.
thanks.
I forgot that I didn't have them in the freezer because I just ate them like the other week. I make them myself.
Well, I was
So
watching
gonna
this.
be like,
I was watching Marty devour all these tenderloins, and my only thought was, Blake is such a picky eater. Blake, do you eat a tenderloin?
I don't think I've ever had one.
You don't think you've ever had one?
I don't think I've ever
Wow.
had one.
You are aware of what it is.
Yeah.
Getting back to that.
But is it
You are
something
aware
where it's
there are
like,
tenderloins.
but it's like, it's just not look appealing, or
I've just never had one.
Are you from here?
Yeah.
I can't believe you grew up in Peoria.
I've only had one. I've only had one in my 6 years here.
I've had
so-
plenty.
I know. I've only had one.
Here's how I like it. I like
How do you like it, Jason?
everywhere you go, you're like, see how big that tenderloin is.
I don't like the real big
I don't
ones.
care. I don't give a shit about that. I just want the taste.
I don't want
good.
it. I don't want it in a pizza box.
It's the novelty of
No.
like,
No.
it's like, this is the size of my fucking hubcap. And I'm like, well done, I guess. Great.
Cool.
I want it to taste good. I like a bun. I like a tenderloin. You know what I like on there? I like a little onion.
Yeah.
I like a little pickle.
Mustard.
I like a little mustard. That's it. I tell you what I will take on there, too. And I haven't seen you do this yet, Marty. I wanted to bring it up to you. I like a little bit of coleslaw on there.
That would be good.
Some coleslaw can be good on that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I like coleslaw on sandwiches.
Yeah, that's
No,
a good
that
call.
would be. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
My favorite tenderloin so far in Peoria, you know Mike's Tavern?
Yeah, Mike's Tavern. Yeah.
They've got a spicy
The
tenderloin.
spicy one. Yep.
I watched that today. And then another one that looked really good that you
Just
were at.
today.
Was
Just
that-
today I watched it. I think it was last week.
Okay.
Yeah, the Lucky Dog, right?
Right.
Yeah, they had the spicy one, right?
I was looking at in Low Point, Illinois. It looked like there was a big, thick tenderloin sandwich. Is that the one? Is that right?
I'm trying to remember now.
yeah.
Up
you had-
at the Duck Tavern or
Oh
something?
yeah, that was
Yeah, you had
the-
a big thick one. That was
that was
cool.
really good.
Yeah, Marty,
Kenny's-
you had a big, thick one at the Duck Tavern.
But no,
Jesus,
but you know,
guys are.
Blake,
I
fucking
tried
think
to duck,
about what
but it
you're
got
saying.
me anyway.
but Blake, tenderloins are usually like pretty pounded
thin,
flat.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they pound that pork.
Bunch of pork pounders. But that one looked really good at the Duck Tavern. I might have to make my way up there.
Midway Duck Inn. Have you ever eaten there?
Midway Duck
No,
Inn.
I'm
That's
not.
what it's called.
All their food is really good.
I think I went there once.
Yeah.
A buddy, military friend of mine, like was always like, "Oh yeah, that's the place to go, bro."
No, all their food is great there. It's kind of a hidden gem.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I like to bring out on the blog or on the Midwest Slice of Life.
That's the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
is highlight these smaller businesses that. What do they have? They have their Facebook, sure. But like they don't have an outside source coming there, except for save once every 5 years you get the Journal Star somebody to
They've
be
got
like
a limited advertising dollar.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like the secret diner. I don't know. They do it in my hometown, the like mystery diner of the week, and they go to a writer goes in there
yeah.
unbeknownst to the people, and they only write positive things.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. The whole thing about it is they're like, if we have a mystery diner and they didn't have a good experience, they don't even publish it, or they only highlight the good stuff because
That's why-
the whole point is to highlight these small businesses.
I love CBS Sunday Morning. You ever watch that show?
Oh, yeah,
You ever
of
watch
course.
CBS Sunday Morning, Blake?
Of course.
No.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
It's,
it.
it's only been on like 70 years. But like it's the whole program is like fluff reporting. It's
I
it's
love it.
positive stuff. It's all positive. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
only positivity.
Last
2022.
that's right. Last thing I'll say about Marty's, and I do want to unveil a theory to Marty as well.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Ethereum.
I want to unveil some crypto to you.
Am I going to have to leave after this?
No.
Ethereum.
I had mentioned last week that I thought Midwest Slice of Life was the perfect length at about 5 to 8 minutes. Very consumable, fairly tightly edited. I really enjoy it. And then and I mentioned that the awards show at the end of season 1 was very funny.
Thank you.
That was great. Yeah.
And then I also really liked the Chuck E. Cheese episode.
That's been the most popular one.
of course.
Now, a few things about that. Now, I have a daughter. She's 16. We haven't been to
Don't
Chuck
call
E.
her daughter.
Cheese. I'm sorry. I apologize to you. It's been about 5 years since we've been to Chuck E. Cheese. I miss it. Chuck E. Cheese at some point was more about for me than her.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I love Chuck E. Cheese. And I know you're disdain for it. But this is what I want to ask you. You walk in the door, and they're like, I got to stamp your hand to make sure you guys
With
are...
invisible ink.
With invisible ink.
And they say, this child belongs to you? I said, yes. If I came in by myself and I didn't have a child, they say, you can't come here. Why are you here, adult, without kids? Did you have that experience at all? Did they?
They don't do that.
So they let you write in with no
I mean,
children.
I've done 2 blogs from there without kids. People have said that to me. Well, you can't go in there without a kid.
That's been my experience. That's what I
if
thought they
somebody would
did.
have said that to me, I just would have said bullshit.
Yeah.
Let me talk to the manager.
I want to
You
eat
know,
some damn pizza.
I want to eat some pizza and look at these kids.
I mean,
Would it be great? I want to talk to your manager in fucking Chuck E. Cheese. coming up.
Yeah,
I mean-
an actual Charles Entertainment Cheese walks up to you.
yeah, no, I don't. I think that's kind of a myth, or maybe
Okay,
they
maybe it
stopped
is a myth then.
Because
You know what? To be honest with you, it's the Peoria Chuck E. Cheese. He comes in. He's got money. He doesn't have a gun. They're like, just come in. It's fine.
Please come
No,
in.
Roll out the red carpet for him.
It's closed, right? The one there? Here?
No, it's open.
Is it still here?
I went
Yeah.
one time. It was like
Yeah, because
for
you just went there recently. Yeah.
like a kid's birthday party or something.
I'm thinking of right next door, Biaggi's is closed. Yeah.
And
Nuts.
I think it's a Petco now or something. Yeah. I sat down there and I was like, I will have one pizza, please.
What, you remember? It was when we were there, right?
It might have been.
The
Was it
pizza
for-
is horrible.
For
Was it
Freckles' birthday?
Freckles' birthday.
And they said, all right, we'll bring
Golden
you a pizza.
birthday.
Yeah.
They bring me out a pizza and I eat it and I was like, this tastes like fucking shit.
yeah, it's terrible.
This is fucking shit. And right then, I started ruminating, meticulating in my head. I was like, oh, why is this pizza so bad? And I think, what is pizza? It's bread. Oh, I love bread. What's on top of it? You put sauce on there. I like tomato sauce.
I love cheese.
And what cheese on there? Oh, I love cheese. And then sometimes there'll be toppings. I love toppings.
Oh, I love Top.
Why is this pizza
You're
bad?
a top guy.
I love Top.
I think why is this pizza bad? So these guys have heard my theory on this before, Marty. Pizza is made of all the greatest things that we love. If you are putting a pizza into your mouth and it tastes bad, someone did that on purpose. Someone made a bad pizza on purpose.
It's true.
And why Chuck E. Cheese continues to make bad pizza on purpose is beyond me. We can agree that pizza is made of all the best things we love.
Yeah, I think why it's bad is because it's made for kids.
But why?
Kids don't
like
care.
really bland shit, and that pizza is the definition of bland.
It was fucking terrible.
I've always
when I had
thought
it.
when I like make food for my kids too, like, man, this is awful.
Like, I don't have to try.
Like, I don't want
This
this
chicken
at all.
nugget tastes like nothing.
Seriously, that's what I do, and
Even like-
I'll eat it, and I'll just be like, I don't even want.
No,
this
kids like
myself.
bland food, and their pizza, that's one of the bad things. It's just really bland.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Do you agree with my theory, though?
No.
If you were eating a bad pizza, someone made bad pizza on purpose.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Makes sense.
All right, I feel like I'm fully rationalizer. Let's go to the next segment, and we got something special coming up here.
Do we have over there?
Yeah.
More beer. More beer.
In the fridge. You don't have to lean over, Blake. He's gonna hurt himself.
He's just grabbing a beer. Relax. All right.
I've hurt myself doing worse.
I know.
So every year, as has been tradition, one of the listeners of the program, and perhaps the most predominant listener, he comes from the United Kingdom. His name is Chris Tuckley. In the past, he's gifted us full seasons of the show. And by full seasons, I mean he's provided us 3 different seasons, 30 links of failed pilots. He's a
Wow.
dedicated listener to the program, and every Christmas, he gives us a Christmas gift. This year is not a different year than the other years.
Right. So let's talk about. We had he wrote the 12 Days of Christmas,
Featuring prominently guest Lucas.
Yeah, R.I.P. Lucas,
Prominently.
Yeah.
Lucas wasn't it. He sang and then he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was great. That was a great.
Yeah.
We had like 8-10 guys in here
It was
singing.
great.
Yeah.
We were
Full
that
grown
was
men.
So awesome.
It was the Couch Pilots men's
full grown
choir.
men and Eli.
but he had pants on, which
He
was
did
good.
have pants on.
He gave us the like a Christmas carol. Remember that with all
Yep.
the spooky music?
Oh, yeah,
And
for
Kevin
sure.
was a part of that.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He behind our backs he enlisted Kevin.
I
This guy-
recorded some stuff.
Yeah,
for
this
him.
guy does his work, and this is somebody who found our show about 150 episodes in and said, I'm riding in a train all day long, all back and forth.
They call it the tube over there.
the tube, and I will catch up, and I will catch up from day one,
Right.
and I will catch up and be with them. So. Chris Tuckley has probably invested more time in this podcast than I have. I would say.
Absolutely at this point.
I wouldn't disagree with
Okay,
that.
three-
But I don't know.
3 days ago, I got a email. We got an email. Sorry, we got an email.
We got a email. Yeah.
Dear Jason and Blake, I can't believe that time. Blah, blah, blah. I can't believe it's that time of the year again. And also, I want to preface this by the fact that this gentleman is a professor.
And right now, at time of recording, it is not that time of year. So he already is on top
Oh,
of
he's
it
ahead of
because
the
he
game.
knows.
He contacted me and asked me
yeah.
when we were going to record this
He,
episode.
he knows.
But he is a
Did his
professor
work.
of Viking history. This guy is not a stupid fucking guy.
literally professor of Viking history.
Yeah.
Marty.
We say that, like,
Crazy.
obviously he's hyper intelligent. Sometimes you need a way to, like, dumb down for a little bit.
Smartest people I know love reality TV.
Yeah, that's true.
We are the reality TV of his life.
Podcast.
It only seems like yesterday that I last sent you a message, and here we are, almost 12 months on.
It's
fair.
a British way of saying things.
Yeah. It's fair to say that 2022 hasn't been a great year in many ways. But I'll repeat what I've said before. Couch Pilots has continued to make me laugh throughout, and I'd be all the poorer without your skill and dedication to podcasting art, your candor, and, most importantly, your silliness. I don't think you said it like that. Please accept my heartfelt thanks. Looking ahead to what I hope will be a brighter 2023, I've imagined what must be the inevitable next step for you both. Pitching your own Couch Pilots TV pilot.
Ooh.
I found a template online for structuring a pitch and have filled it out on your behalf.
Like a Mad Gabs of sorts.
Yes, in a way. Trying to imagine what the show would be like. The form includes space for synopsis of individual episodes, so I included an online. I included an outline for 6, following the format of the UK TV series. Right?
Serious, yeah.
Do any strike you as particularly strong? We can worry about casting decisions further down the line. from my point of view, the Couch Pilots TV show has it all: drama, passion, intrigue. It would be foolish for Netflix exclusive executives who turn it down. Wish you and yours a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And then there was a doc.
So he said that he found templates. He wrote all of this.
I
guarantee it.
He didn't find a template.
Whatever this is, you're passing something to me?
I'm just not a very good reader.
I know.
I'm nervous Marty's here.
Okay, now you say you're not a really good reader, Blake. I was about to give you a very big compliment. That is the smoothest you've ever read anything on this show, and I'm not even kidding. And that was really good.
I'm in the pocket. I told you.
You're in the fucking pocket right now, baby.
All I'm predicting is that MTV is going to steal this idea.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yep.
MTV's gonna fuck us right here.
So here it is. Disclaimer: MTV. This is off limits.
Copyright.
Copyright. Don't you dare. Who is there? Viacom.
Yeah.
Get out.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
You get out of here.
I will only share my Paramount Plus subscription password at the end of this episode after I've had a couple more beers.
Yeah, everyone has to listen to the end.
Yeah, please.
It'll be in the plug section. Okay, so I'm holding 3 pieces of paper stapled together. This was the attached document to Chris Tuckley's email.
Correct.
A email. Should be an email. TV show pitch template. This template is intended to assist you with pitching your TV show to potential network partners and distributors. Show title, The Couch Pilots. Creators, Blake Clayton, Jason Tosher. Alphabetical order, you're first. Background, key, and credits. Famed throughout the Pekin area for his wit and his charm and dry wit, influencer Jason has extensive experience in podcasting and the hospitality sector. He enjoys spending time with friends, feeding squirrels, housework, retro gaming, and collecting Pyrex.
which is all true statements.
Got a Pyrex text from Jason today. A Pytex, if you would.
So that's a very good.
That's a pretty beefy description for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead. And what's my description?
Oh, I like it.
I
already love it.
Blake Clayton has slept with 100 women.
Yes. That's all that matters. It's all that
Have
fucking
you
matters.
met this guy?
Not in person, no.
You got to try and talk him into coming here.
We've talked to him. You've talked to him on the phone before.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
Well,
during the marathon?
The closest
or
we
something?
came is
We did a video with him.
Yeah.
the closest it wasn't even a live video.
Oh no, he was he was in
He
Philadelphia.
came to the States. Yeah.
but
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right. Key collaborators, too many to list. Format, educational drama in 50-minute installments with a focus on aviation and men's intimate health matters. Kevin may have been the perfect guest to have here for this. Logline. The lives and loves of two 40-something podcast geniuses and their circle of friends as they navigate the cut and thrust of 21st century life in Pekin, Illinois. I will double down and say I don't live in Pekin.
He lives in East
I
Peoria.
don't want that on me.
That's all right.
I don't want that.
I will
bad
say-
juice.
I
It's
will
a typo. His secretary.
I will
made a
say
typo.
we did create our own community.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like it's not a joke. People say like, were you part of the scene in the '90s, the late '90s, the Peoria music scene? Were you around in that? We have created our own scene.
Oh,
that is very true.
There is a
Peoria Podcast
canon.
Alliance.
Yeah, there is a canon too.
Between Dustin and Scott, yourself, Adam, between the Wolfords and Tim,
Wolfords, yeah, and Tim.
all those we
Yeah.
really have. We really have.
The only people that we don't know are the People of Peoria podcast. It's called the People of Peoria
know.
podcast. Yeah.
I heard.
Did
You know about that?
you send them a strongly worded email?
No, because I don't really care. But the funny thing is, and this is kind of the way Peoria in a weird way
But that in the
operates.
early '90s, that's what your magazine was called, People of Peoria,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there is currently a semi-active podcast called.
It's not really that active.
I also own the name for the URL. I registered that years ago.
So they don't even
that's
have
funny.
that.
Peopleofpeoria.com. I own.
But they don't. So they don't have it. I wonder what they're
Yeah, People
operating
of
from.
Peoria.
I think it's
podcast
People of
that comes-
Peoria podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the weird thing, and I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Well, it was Jessica from Lit on Fire.
Sure,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
back when they had different hosts, but
Yeah,
they
yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Hey, we're looking for interesting people to put on our podcast. Anybody got any ideas?"
Marty Wambacher, top 5 on my
Yeah, yeah,
list.
yeah.
That's
top
what
5.
Number one with a
Jessica-
bullet.
That's what Jessica said. She said, "How about having?" I think they're funny because I think that they stole the name from me. They probably didn't even know that I had it.
Yeah.
And, but
They're
said,
good guys. They're
she
good guys.
said,
I've met them before.
How
actually.
about the guy that you stole your name from, Marty Wambacher? And they just didn't answer.
No
that.
response. Yeah, of course.
Radio silence. Now, I know, I think I was there when you had met them. You're talking about the Bearded Owl.
Yeah.
Those people, it's different people now.
It is. They've changed.
They handed the reins over to someone else, I think.
I'm sure they're good people.
They did like 8 or 10 episodes. Come on.
I'm sure they're
Hey, talk to me when you do 366 episodes.
Hey-o.
There you go.
Oh, forget about it. Synopsis: Magic happens when odd couple Blake and Jason, aka the Couch Pilots, come together in their studio, come cockpit. But life
Come cockpit.
it is cum. Shame on you, Chris. But life has a habit of putting obstacles in their way, which is
Somewhat.
Sometimes you and I have obstacles.
Sure.
Rarely with each other, but life gets in the way.
Yeah, life.
Plane floods.
Oh,
Sometimes the plane will flood.
planes flood, caught on fire.
My
once.
God, this is
Yeah.
insane. He breaks down 6 episodes.
It is worth it to go through.
I'm gonna read them.
Yeah, it's worth it. to
Tough
go
shit,
through.
Marty. I know I'm
wanna
giving you
hear
a ride
'em.
home later, but tough
No,
shit.
I want to hear him. This guy's amazing.
Episode
Yeah, he's
breakdowns. Episode 1 titled Hoover Dam.
Oh wow.
DAMN. And it's like, so if someone said, "Hey, tell me what you know about hydroelectricity in the UK," I would say, "I don't know anything."
Right.
He's talking about a dam built here in the United States. The Hoover Dam.
And it also, there is nobody that listens to this show, even people that are involved in it, that can deep cut like Chris Tuckley. He is known for his deep cuts. He pulls-
Seriously.
I am hiring Chris to write my autobiography.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
My auto.
Thank you.
It's funny.
Sometimes you just wonder, like, am I a genius for nothing? And then you hear Kevin laugh, and it's like,
I'm a funny.
no.
I'm a funny joke machine. I know it's funny.
A podcasting session is interrupted by an emergency call from the Peoria Lock and Dam. It's Jason's old friend, Bon Voyeur, Derek Hoover Boss Hoover, whose barge got stuck. Will Blake and Jason be able to unload a cargo of Masters of the Universe action toys in time for Blake's shift at Sunset Lanes? Who will fix Molly's broken vacuum cleaner? That last sentence has nothing to do with it at all. That's fantastic.
Yes.
That he knows he has just a bevy of Masters of the Universe toys.
yeah.
I think because he's friends with them on Facebook.
And I mentioned one time that like I was bitching about buying a new vacuum cleaner probably, and it lasted 3 seconds, and he remembered it.
Of course.
Wow.
This guy's real.
I have not read this before. This is me reading it fresh.
Right, that's why.
That's the first one, and it's like a fucking home run.
Yeah.
How much better can it get from
It's
here?
Ken Griffey Jr. Let me just
This
tell
is
you
where
that.
I hope and I pray that I get mentioned in this.
I do have
Just as much as I'm hoping and praying that he decides to go through with the blog and post my picture
you'll
on
be on
there,
there
even
next
though he
week.
knows, he damn well knows he'll get negative clicks.
I have a friend named Hoover Boss who really does collect Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
All right, episode 2, The Flash. Blake unwisely reignites an old rivalry with a frenemy, Matt, challenging him to a 5-mile running race around downtown Pekin. Jason's loyalties are divided. Can Blake count on him to coach to victory, or will a wardrobe malfunction for Brianna bring the race to a grinding halt? Our friend Dustin's wife, Brianna, was recently on the show, and she had a massive wardrobe malfunction at work, exposing the entirety of her genitalia.
Oh, God, that is. Oh,
That's
wow.
that's
good
insane.
pull. Good
All right,
pull.
episode number 3, Moose on the Loose.
Oh, the moose.
Yes.
Blake is left red-faced when a joke about a chocolate dessert leads him to a series of misunderstandings at a local drinking den. Jason tries to make amends by ordering a cameo message from famed NFL player/wrestler for Kevin and Steph, only to make things worse. In quotes for this episode, very strong language.
Me and my wife got mentioned here. Oh, God. A cameo.
Very strong language, that episode. Holy shit.
Yeah, each episode
my
there's
God.
there's like all the warnings like at the beginning.
Hey,
yeah.
hey, Blake, I hope you get mad. What was that? Ron Harper?
Hey Matt,
Yeah.
you don't want to mess with Blake.
Who was it? Was it Ron
Harper.
Ron Harper, smoking a cigar, drunk as
A
hell.
frequent guest of the show and one of my longtime friends over 20 years, Matt. That's him.
Yeah,
up
we
there.
were talking about that
Yeah.
earlier.
He comes on the show a lot, and the past couple years we've done competitions between him and Blake. They've turned into podcasts and also YouTube videos.
Oh, it's very funny.
And
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Very, very funny stuff. And we've you know what Cameo is, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we've sometimes we'll get cameos, and of course you know what cameos. You had
Newman.
Wayne Knight in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I paid $100 for the worst fucking cameo.
No,
ever.
it was fantastic.
It was perfect.
It was fantastic because it wasn't your $100.
I'll give you 50 because that was really good.
You will leave here tonight and go dump $100 into a slot machine and not feel half as you won't remember it, but you will remember the
I
Ron
haven't
Harper
gambled in
message.
2 weeks. Thank you very much.
No, you're
Oh,
welcome.
well, 2 weeks ago.
All right, 4th episode. Chicken Lady. It's the Halloween episode, Halloween special. Chicken Lady is my sister.
Sarah, yeah.
She has chickens in her backyard. She raises chickens.
This is a Halloween
Okay.
special. This is the Halloween special.
It's Halloween in Pekin, and rumors are rife that legendary chicken lady, half chicken, is stalking the streets. More danger lies in stores for Blake. More danger lies in store for Blake at the McDonald's in the shape of a fish fillet and a mysterious lady
God.
from his past.
Oh, my God.
That's
What a pull.
the first lady I ever slept with was a coworker who smelled like fish fillets.
From McDonald's. They both worked at McDonald's.
Wow.
And you know, the funniest thing is, I get all the references.
Yeah.
With Jason MIA at the Bloomington Normal video game convention, will Blake make it safely home to enjoy a chicken sandwich with Molly? And the quotes for this one are tobacco use, mild peril.
The chicken sandwich, too, when you were eating it on mic.
Mild peril. You get a chicken sandwich every once in a while at McDonald's, right? You get a chicken sandwich?
I've done it, yeah.
Blake says, I'll have one chicken sandwich, please. Mustard only.
Mustard only, and then eats it on mic. That was so funny. There was a stretch where you did it like every time.
He was
That
on
was
he was
really
on
funny.
a chicken sandwich mustard hot streak.
Yeah.
But do you get mayo on it? I know you call it whale semen, but do you get mayo on your chicken sandwich?
No, I hate mayonnaise.
No mayonnaise.
I love mayonnaise.
No mayonnaise.
no,
Hard
no.
stance against mayonnaise. I'm a hard for mayonnaise.
Mustard is
Japanese
my main
mayonnaise.
condiment.
I like mustard too. I do
That mustard that you started using on there, that's good shit.
The
I know exactly
sandwich
what you're talking
pal.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
the sweet and
That's great
spicy.
shit.
Yeah.
I think the only difference, literally the only difference between Marty and myself is the mayo thing. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Number 5, Utopia.
Oh, wow.
Blake and Amanda begin recording a new podcast, causing a rift with Jason. Consumed with jealousy, Jason teams up with charismatic local Jesus lookalike Dustin to establish a cult, promising followers who join them in their compound a life of happiness and complete sexual fulfillment. But there's trouble in paradise when a splinter group, the Brotherhood of the Rolled Up Towel, forms under Big E's leadership. With the threat of a bloodbath looming, can Blake and Jason set aside their differences and get their podcast back on track? Strong bloody violence. What is that one from? What's the Rolled Up Towel?
Biggie, he would whip. Don't you remember that?
Was that it?
He does the
It has well, it's
the
not-
whip thing.
Yeah, and then Utopia was. There's only 2 people in the world, me and Amanda,
Who have seen the show.
that enjoyed this show on
Well,
Fox.
seen it.
It saw.
It was a
and
Fox reality show, and they've long been tempting to dig up the links to that
And-
show.
and-
And do a
and
It doesn't
podcast.
exist anymore.
You can't find all of them. And
gotta
it
get a
only
DVD,
it,
like
it
a
only
Japanese
lasted like
DVD.
6 episodes, and they stopped it. It didn't even have a whole.
Yeah, it didn't even have a whole
They
season.
spent a lot of money on that show.
Yeah. This is Utopia. I know this theme song because of you.
The 6th and final episode, Christmas in Pekin, a Christmas special.
Oh, spoiler.
Join your 2 favorite podcasters, Blake and Jason, and a host of fabulous guests for a heartwarming seasonal special filmed entirely inside the secret apartment at the Sunset Lanes bowling alley.
Oh my God.
Take your place at their fireside Yuletide songs, cooking tips, and more. Drug use, nudity.
The secret. Of
So Blake is he's a man of compulsions and addictions. One of his addictions for the past, 4 or 5 years now is bowling. He loves to bowl. So him living here in Pekin, he will go to the Sunset
I've
Alley.
been there. I've actually done a blog from there.
Were you aware of their
look it up.
secret
The pizza?
apartment?
No.
They have a secret apartment in that building, and that apparently was the setting for episode 6
Okay.
of the show.
I described this apartment. I had long been wanting to see it. I knew it was there.
Does somebody live there? Or is it for people like to hook up?
No. It is an apartment that is attached. It is encompassed by said bowling alley.
Right.
The former owner, I knew her. I tried for I think 3 years for her to show me this apartment.
Yeah.
She wouldn't do it.
Why?
Yeah, 'cause she was a cunt. So my really good friends, recently bought Sunset Lanes. And the first night that they owned the place, me and my wife went into the bar, and I said,
Let me see that apartment.
let me see that apartment. And they said, sure.
Let's go.
I described this apartment as one of two things. Either 70s porn was filmed in it, or there was a murder in it.
Wow.
That's the only two things you can do in this
Why?
apartment. Shag carpet, paneling,
Jungle room?
It's gross.
It's not that it's gross. It's just weird.
You're
Blake-
piquing Marty's interest. He's going to make a blog of this.
The
place.
bathroom is
Yeah.
the bathroom is awesome.
It's
the bathroom
gross.
is awesome.
It's gross.
Not the bathroom. It's awesome. It's,
Well,
it's the best bathroom. ever.
It's one of those things where, like, my grandpa had a bedroom in his garage. You know, like it's
Kind of
like
the same thing.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna kidnap someone and keep them in here where nobody can hear.
well,
them.
yeah, or you built the whoever the owner was before. Obviously, this previous owner, I probably shouldn't. I mean, it doesn't matter if I say her name,
Well, but it was long before.
yeah.
that,
But yeah, somebody built it and was just like, just gonna get away from the wife and kids. I'm gonna build an apartment in here instead.
Yeah, that's
so.
It's got its own. It's got its
Yeah.
own address. It's a different address than
The bowling alley?
actual
But nobody
wow.
lives there.
No,
Not that you know of.
One of the
Or
entrances
Dave
is
or
through
Lisa.
the laser tag.
you got to go through the laser tag.
One
to
of the
get there.
entrances. All right, hey, real quick. Chris Tuckley.
Yes.
I had not read this before. I laughed out loud. This is very funny.
That was great.
It's
Thank-
vintage. It's vintage, Chris.
I know he's like a professor or a doctor or something. He's probably making a lot of money to help his family.
See, he says everything happens in Pekin here, and we just always say he's just like a fucking professor of something. I think he talks about Vikings. We don't know the first thing about him.
He seems to have, like, I see his posts on
He's-
Twitter, and
oh,
he
he's very
seems to have
learned.
a genuine passion for the things that he does.
Oh yeah.
But there's something going on here too. You know, with his ability to reflect what he's heard here and turn it into spun gold.
There's something going on
Like,
here.
I don't know. I don't know what other avenues he uses to explore that creativity, but I strongly encourage him to do so because this was fantastic.
Yeah, it
And
was
Chris,
really good.
Thank you so much.
The man doesn't drink or smoke. His one vice is couch pilots.
that we know of.
Yeah.
And that's why his wife is always mad at him.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
All right. Well, it is Christmas, so today we discuss the pilot episode of Christmas in Tattertown, and that's from the year of our Lord 1988. Now, that was a great year.
1988. I was 8 years old.
Nope.
Wow.
-2.
No, you weren't. In 1988, you were not 8.
No,
5, 6. Oh
8
no, I
plus
was
5.
I was
8 plus 5.
No, let him
Whatever
figure
that
it
is.
13.
No, let him figure it out.
I was 13.
Okay.
8 and 5.
Wow, you went
Yeah.
from 8
No,
to
I'm just
13.
I'm
Hold
just
on.
giving you a look about being 13.
He's
I
got
was
no
born in
fucking- he's got
75.
no
I was
fucking
13 years old.
Okay.
Just discovering the wonderful world of
Of math?
masturbation.
Math.
Math.
Masturbation.
Masturbation.
That's
Oh.
someone with a lisp.
I was -2. My wife, I know how old she was because she was born January 1st, 1988. And her social security number is. But she's always you always know how old she is. From what year it is.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Which is kind
Fun
of
fact.
what everybody knows how old they are.
No.
Well, hers
'cause
is,
it's
hers
January
is
1st.
at the beginning of the
January
year.
1st.
If I was 13, you were 7.
Yeah, that's right. Marty, now we established that you're horrible at math.
This I figured out, though. It's easy.
Okay.
Because I was born in 1958.
Okay.
So I was 30.
You're 30 years old.
wow.
There you go.
30? Don't really remember the year that well, but I was already into writing and doing stuff. We did a couple joke books and that after it. And I was 2 years
Was
away.
your Jesus joke in there about the cross? Because how do you write capital ouch?
I got a lot of Jesus jokes.
Yeah.
Between that and Blake's trouble with math, really, he's very wasted at this point.
Well, what is funny about that is, maybe you guys don't even remember this, but Notre Dame High School used to be called Bergen High School.
I've heard that. I didn't.
Well, you know who it
Experience
was,
that,
you know
but-
who was named after?
Who's that?
Candace Bergen?
No, Archbishop Gerald T. Bergen. He was the Archbishop of Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
And he was my great uncle.
He's your great uncle.
way.
Wow.
He was my dad's uncle, and we
that?
called him Unc.
So you're kind of the rightful heir to Notre Dame.
Well, what's
You
funny
should go in there and
is-
challenge the current principal
What-
to his fisticuffs.
What's funny is my brother, both myself and my brother were like these horrible kids in high school.
Sure.
I mean, the teachers hated us. And Jim, there was a painting of Unc in the Commons where he ate lunch. And Jim used to say to teachers when they were like giving him shit, he'd be like, school is named after my great uncle. You got to take it easy. Oh, yeah, right. Well, he died right after my 8th grade year, so I wasn't in high school yet, but Jim was a sophomore. So we go to the funeral, and I do remember that we got really high before the funeral. So we're stoned in this church. It's like a big cathedral.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it looked like
the
Pope,
cathedral probably.
Yeah, it looked like the Pope had died.
Yeah.
So we're in there higher than fuck with our family. We got high with our cousins were there, so we're all
course.
stoned. And
Classic,
Jim
getting
like
stoned
hits
with
and
your
he's
cousins.
like, look up there. And it was all the priests and teachers from Bergen staring at Jim like, oh my God.
He
it's
wasn't
true.
lying. Yeah.
Because you're probably sitting in a place of prominence.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
like in the front row.
yeah.
That is so funny.
Or was he just like giving him the bird? It's like, I'm high as fuck.
I can't remember.
You said you said you got a lot of Jesus jokes. Right here, right now. It's like a Jesus Jones.
There you go. I forgot about them. Good call.
I already knew where I was going miles before I said it.
Watching the world wake up. Great song. Hey, great year. Let's go back there.
1988.
In our minds. And to do so, we'll talk about some things that happened December of 1988. So we can be in the proper mind frame of when Christmas in Tattertown was made, because to do it any other way would be uncivilized.
Sure, definitely uncivilized. You can't view a pilot television show from 1988 in the mind frame of 2022.
Can't do it.
Yeah, we have apps now on our phone. We didn't have that back
We didn't have. You're right. We didn't have apps.
then. We didn't even have appetizers back
We didn't have desserts.
Yeah, Marty did not have a blog because we didn't have the internet.
pre-blog.
And if I'm not mistaken,
It's probably something else, right?
we did not have Kotex.
yeah, no Kotex.
No Courtney Cox. I don't think
Ooh,
either.
no Courtney Cox, and also no Band-Aids.
no Courtney Cortex.
Oh, no Band-Aids. Yeah.
Thank you, Blake. Here's some things that we did
What
have.
time? When did Born in the USA come out?
Are you talking about
We might
Bruce,
have had. We might
Bruce
have.
Springsteen?
We might have had Courtney Cox, 88. I
Okay.
think. When did Born in the USA come out?
Was that Born in the USA? The album, or because she was on
the
stage
album.
for
The video.
what was
Yeah.
the video?
Dancing in the dark.
Dance. That's what it was. Dancing there.
Yeah, but we didn't have her though.
Oh, we didn't. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, we didn't have her.
quote
Yeah,
unquote.
we didn't have her.
Sexually.
December 1st. We've all had her since then.
Right.
1988. December
all been
1st.
friends. We've all been friends.
Shut up. The first World AIDS Day is held.
Ooh.
Wow.
Did we beat AIDS? I feel like we beat AIDS, didn't we?
Magic
Still
Johnson did.
there.
It is still there.
It only took like 60 million African people to die, but we beat it.
Zambian rock
It has.
Well, you know,
suffered greatly because of it.
one thing I did for the Pekin Daily Times when the Magic Johnson thing came out, because all of a sudden it was like all these heterosexual guys, me included, like, oh fuck, we can get this too.
Yeah.
People think that it is homophobic or racist or whatever, but it really was considered a gay disease.
No, it was.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
who wants to fuck more than guys? No one. And what if a bunch of guys want to fuck each other? Holy shit. That's a fucking STD stew, baby. Right?
It really is.
And it's not it's not homophobic at all to say that. It's what it was. But you're right. Once it became a thing where straight people could get it, that's where it really hit like the mainstream.
Yeah, well, what I did was I was freelancing for the Pekin Daily Times, and my editor there was a great guy, and I said, how about I go to like the Pekin Free Clinic, whatever it was, and get an AIDS test.
Sure.
And so I wrote an article. They had a picture of me in there, and I let out with saying, I'm not gay. I'm heterosexual. But when Magic, I forget how I worded it, but it was like when I saw the Magic Johnson thing,
Right.
all of a sudden I realized this can happen to anybody. And so it was kind of showing you how, if you wanted to get tested, you could for free.
Yeah. 1988.
This is kind of like
Yeah.
June of 2020 being a reporter and saying, I'm going to go get a COVID test.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm going to report out there and tell people what
Right.
that's all about and how that process
Well,
is.
so we did it. The article came out, and I went about a week later. I went to go get my check for the article, and Kent Davey, who's the editor, he's like, I didn't know if I wanted to show you these or not. And the fact that people would there was a stack of mail about how people wanted to kill me, and
What?
Oh no, it was.
Well,
Really?
that's the old school comment section.
Well, no, they
A
were,
letter.
these were handwritten.
Yeah.
These were handwritten,
Handwritten letters.
The old comments,
The
yeah.
comments section.
Yeah, but
The
they were.
cesspool that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, calling me every homosexual slur in the world. If I see this
so
guy,
I can only think of 10.
if I think of this guy, I will kill him. This
Yeah.
and that. Kent's like, kind of watch yourself. For
It's
a while.
just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
so many people associate it so much with
Right.
homosexuality,
Yeah.
and that was such a bigger deal back then. They were saying you are in some way promoting that or embodying it.
Yeah, it was really scary.
It was
Though.
also peaking.
It is also
Well,
You
yeah.
know, at the time, they also didn't let black people in the damn.
Yeah, it was a sundown town, right?
Sundown
Yeah,
God.
no, it was.
Oh, you remember that? You remember that country song, "Sundown Town"?
Yeah, that was I wrote that.
You
Well, I mean,
wrote
the
Sundown
name,
Town?
What?
The name of their sports team used to be the Pekin Chinks.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
trust me, I
That
know.
was that was one of the 10 words I was thinking for homosexual.
I told him. So my friend, who's his mom's maiden name is Veerman, the street that's right over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
she's
thanks. Now I got people going to know where I live.
it's right over here. Okay, it's a big street. But his mom's from Pekin, so like I was DJing a wedding the day that they were playing. Pekin was playing Lake Zurich, and I'm like, oh yeah, Pekin, they're playing. He's like, yeah, that's crazy. Like my aunt texted like a family group text, and like, yeah, it's a huge deal down there. And my other friend, he's like, oh yeah, weren't they the Chinks back then? And I was like, well, guess what they are now? And he's like, I don't know, like the Dragons. And I was like, yes. And he's like, hold on, wait, like the Chinese looking
Yeah.
dragon. And I'm like, look at their logo. He's
Yeah.
like, I was fucking kidding.
Yeah, it's still lightly racist.
I was kidding.
It's still racist, but
I
the good
can't
kind.
believe that. Yeah.
December
that's
20th,
funny.
the United Nations Convention began against illicit traffic in narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances is signed in Vienna. Marty, you talk a lot about drugs. Which drugs should be legal?
All of them. I've always been a proponent. Drugs should be legal. Prostitution. That way you could, and that way you can monitor it better.
And you take out the black market of it and
Right,
the
you take out the
underground
black
trafficking.
market because
There'll be less deaths, that's for sure.
well, and if I want to do heroin, if I had enough of a mindset within a half a day, I'm going to get heroin. I'm going to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Just
not
don't
like,
wear new shoes when you go to buy it.
I can't
Then they
wait.
think you're a cop. Don't ask me how I know that.
but no, I think all drugs should be legal. I mean,
Why not?
I don't not agree with you. I think that's probably the way to go.
Yeah.
It would oddly enough create a lot of jobs.
well, it would create jobs. You could tax
Eliminate
it.
criminal,
you could tax
aspect
it
of it.
like they tax booze
Yep.
and cigarettes.
Yes.
Is this Reagan war on drugs? When was he president? I don't even fucking
81 to
It was
89.
Nancy Reagan started the Just Say No.
Every first lady has a cause. I think Michelle Obama's was
and-
obesity. Hers was the war
Yeah,
on drugs.
and her war on drugs was how come we get a lot of black people incarcerated really quickly.
yeah.
Crack cocaine.
Pretty much.
Flood the streets with crack cocaine. Hey, December 21st, Pan Am Flight 103 is blown up over Lockerbie, Scotland, killing a total of 270 people. Libya is suspected of involvement. Kevin, you fly pretty frequently.
Yeah, more than every person in this room, I'm sure.
Down to
I mean,
Tampa
we
to
do
your...
it every week though.
Yeah.
Well,
More than every person
we
in this
fly
room
recreationally.
for their leisure. Yeah.
Do you have you ever had a fear of flying?
Never in my life.
Have you ever experienced anything terrifying?
I think my dad told me when I was very young. It was probably before the first flight we went on. When I was probably in third grade, he was just like, "You got a better chance of dying getting stung by a bee. Like you got a better chance of blah blah blah. You have a better chance of in this car on the way here getting in a car accident. Like you have a way better chance of getting in a car accident."
A couple years ago, I flew with my daughter for the first time, and she had never been on a plane. And I got down on my knees so I could be eye level with her, and I grabbed her by the shoulders, and I wide-eyed. I said, "Lock eyes with me." I said, "We shouldn't be up there."
He's a pilot. And he still said that.
And I said, "Go find your seat."
You know,
because she's not sitting next to you.
if you look at like a like radar thing that shows all the planes that are in the air at one time and how they're all crisscrossing each other, you're fine. You're fine.
Well, I mean, look at the streets. I mean, literally, Peoria, Illinois is less safe of a place to drive
Anywhere is less safe.
I've got an intense fear of flying.
Well,
I have to be drunk to get on a plane.
I don't, and you know what? Also, don't see why you wouldn't be.
I mean,
I'll give you all the reasons why you shouldn't be, but then if you are, it's like, okay, I love going in front of people and public speaking. It's my number one joy in life, and there are about 100 people that will line up behind me and say, I'd rather kill myself right here than go on stage.
Yeah. No, I've got claustrophobia. I have a fear of heights.
Yeah.
It's like all this shit.
I can't tell you why you can't do that.
I have a fear of stewardesses sucking my dick in the bathroom.
You have a fear of it?
Oh, yeah. That
Watch
water's...
out for that. Might come get you.
Kevin, why do we choose to watch?
It's called
Christmas
reverse
in
psychology, buddy. Get those stewardesses sucking this.
We chose to watch Christmas in Taint-Town, right?
Tattertown.
Taint. Ooh.
Tattertown. We chose to watch Christmas in Tattertown because of three simple criteria with the Phantom Fourth. First is that it has to be free. Second is that it has to be on the internet.
That's good. That's a good noise.
Yeah, that's a good one. Third is it has to be available to find on the internet, and it has to have only one episode was made. Whether it went to series or not is irrelevant.
You saved it there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I forgot about that one. And the Phantom Fourth, of course, cartoon.
Animation domination.
Animation domination.
I coined that phrase myself.
Tattertown.
Thank you, Kevin. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You can find the entire episode of Christmas in Tattertown by subscribing to Couch Pilots on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube. Marty, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
He's like, is it over?
Can you tell I've been on the show before that I knew the criteria? They tell everything.
Marty, are you impressed by Kevin, Marty?
Yes, I am.
Are you impressed by me?
Do you like him?
I host a couple podcasts.
I love that he knew all the references in the pitch.
He does.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Marty, are you still not mad at Jason for letting your house apartment be on fire? And nothing?
That was the least of my worries.
Oh, no.
I
Marty,
remember when I
we got to milk this, Marty. You got to help me out. We got to milk this.
I remember reading about it or on the blog, of course, or something, or Twitter or something, and I told Jason, and he's like, yeah, actually, funnily enough, I was the person that alerted.
It said, don't worry, everything's okay.
Yeah. Everything's fine.
I alerted him.
And then we were talking this earlier, and then I swear to God, a minute after I got that, I get a text from Noah Herman and Son saying, are you out of your apartment and are you okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, why? Your building is on fire.
Yeah, I'm fine. My friend Jason said I'm fine.
Marty got to the site, and a cop got on his knees and locked eyes with him and put his arms on his shoulders and said, you shouldn't be in there.
Don't go inside.
I remember I saw you on the news.
Oh, you saw the news thing? We were talking about that last episode.
I saw you on the news.
Well, what I said after that was to the guy, I'm like, the weird thing about this is all my friends are going to see this and say, yeah, this asshole's building is on fire, and he's just trying to get on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. I was the same exact thing.
Always
you
be
guys would
closing.
say the same exact thing about me.
Always be closing. Hey, summary of the pilot. Tattertown is a place where everything discarded in the world came alive. Lead the way. Great.
It's a D plus.
That's a D plus summary.
Yeah, it's short. It's not to the point at all.
That's what they say it is, though. Right?
There's no mention about Christmas.
Well, that talks. That I think that encapsulates what the town is, but maybe not what the pilot is.
You're right.
Well, my summary should be for the pilot, not the town. I don't give a fuck.
I
about
agree.
The town.
I'm just telling Kevin why
Yeah,
I think you came to your judgment.
Yeah,
Do you want to grade it, Kevin?
Yeah, I'll go D as well. You're correct.
D's nuts.
Marty, do you want to
D's
make it a
nuts.
triple D?
Yeah, we'll go with D. The thing, they say where everything goes, but in the show, it's not everything. I mean,
They're playing pretty fast and loose with the rules in Tattertown, if you ask me. But I sometimes something I never play fast and loose with. Oh my God, it's interesting facts.
Welcome to Interesting Facts.
Don't fall out of the pocket.
I told you guys I had about an hour and a half pocket.
Out of the pocket.
I think he's out.
This is the part of the show where Jason has scoured the internet to find out facts about this show that you may not know. All we ask is that you don't taint someone's experience by giving your opinions. Keep your opinions to yourself. You can tell your four-legged friend, but
Thank
do
you.
not.
You knew I was going to bring it up, so I bring it up every time.
Oh, yeah. Four-legged friends all day.
Thank you, Blake. Interesting facts. Christmas in Tattertown is a 1988 animated television Christmas special created and directed by Ralph Bakshi. Fact. Bakshi originated the idea for Tattertown in high school, where it was originally a comic strip called Junktown. The strip made light of the human condition by showing the value of things we throw away. Fact. Bakshi worked with Nickelodeon to bring his strip to life as a regular television series, which would have served as Nickelodeon's first original animated series. Fact.
You would think that they would have already had an original series by then.
You know,
That's pretty cool.
I think Nickelodeon started in the early 80s, and they just ripped all sorts of Canadian content to their channel. And I think the first original Nicktoons might have been that block with, like, Rugrats and stuff in, 90. Yeah.
Wow.
Great pilot, Rugrats.
Fact.
Great pilot.
I'd
pick it.
In 1988, Nickelodeon commissioned Bakshi to create a pilot for the series. It aired December 21st, 1988, during the network's Nick at Night block of programming. Fact.
Nickelodeon.
Originally, the series was to be picked up in 1989 for 39 episodes, but after a controversy involving an episode from Bakshi's other series, Mighty Mouse: The New Adventures, the project was abandoned.
39 episodes. That's a big
It's a tall
chunk,
order.
right?
That's a honeymoon load of orders right there. Honeymooners. I think they only made 39.
There's only
Nickelodeon.
39 honeymooners?
There's only 39 episodes of Honeymooners.
Really?
Yeah.
Jack Benny, only 39 years old. He's dead, too.
Yeah, he's dead.
And he's also 39.
Yeah, they made a movie. I think Jim Carrey starred in it called 39 with all the coincidences about the number 39.
Fact.
I think it was called 23.
Fact.
Nickelodeon renamed the pilot Christmas in Tattertown and aired it annually as a special until 1992. Fact.
Fact.
Get that blood from a turnip.
And finally, Bakshi has retained rights to the pilot, and in an interview on his official website conducted on August 2nd, 2007, he confirmed a DVD release. However,
It has never come to light.
no such release has happened. Thank you, Kevin. End of Interesting Facts.
Right.
Now, do you know another fact about Ralph Bakshi?
I'm glad that you know the name, and I don't know. What is
I
another
do.
fact? You know
I
the
do.
name?
I bet you know what I'm bringing up. Fritz the cat.
Fritz the Cat. I was going to bring up Cool World
Okay, yeah.
with Brad Pitt.
Fritz the Cat came
Cool
up
World.
on this
That's
show
when the Jamaicans were on the bobsled
Yeah,
team.
yeah. Cool World.
with John Candy, yeah, and,
I think-
and Dougie Fresh.
I think Fritz the cat is the only X-rated animated film.
It is.
Ooh,
Yeah,
hold
it
on.
is.
Let me write that.
Well,
Fritz
no,
the
it
Cat.
has the distinction of being the first.
First and the highest grossing animated
I'm
film.
sure. Maybe I don't know
No,
about
it
the
is.
numbers on that, but
I looked it up.
It has the distinction of being the first.
It
X-rated
came
animated
up on this show once, I think, in part of Interesting Facts for some reason.
It was.
And my mom was on the episode, and I said, "Mom, you ever heard tell of Fritz the Cat?" And my mom doesn't know anything. My mom she's about your age, and she said, and I said, "Mom, you grew up in the greatest time.
Yeah.
You got to see like Led Zeppelin." And she's like, "I don't know anything about Led Zeppelin." I'm like, what? And I said,
She saw him and didn't know. She saw him and didn't know
I
who
said,
he was.
"You were a young lady when the Beatles were out. What did you think of the Beatles?" She says,
I don't know.
"I don't know anything about that."
See, I really feel really grateful to have grown up when I did. I did a
yeah,
Marty
yeah.
monologues about it.
Yeah.
So I said, "You ever heard tell of Fritz the Cat?" She says, "I know exactly what that is." I was like, "You dirty dog." All right, Twitter responses, I suppose.
Twitter responses. I wonder if Jason got some Twitter responses.
No, I didn't get it. Hey, let's put
Oh, damn.
let's put 10 minutes on the clock, and we'll break. It's a half hour long with some odd commercial breaks peppered in.
Commercial breaks. Okay.
That's
what we'll call them.
dead air, I guess.
I was
Yeah, there's
drunk.
a big black spot in
I
the
was-
middle of
That
it.
is when
Yeah.
I fell asleep.
I was drunk and going, "Oh fuck! Did I push the wrong button?"
How about this, Kevin?
Did you
Last
press pause?
I did.
Like a
I pushed
VHS.
All right. The show opens with some panning shots, jazzy Dixieland style upbeat music, and narration from Keith David, which is he's been around forever. Most recently, from what I know from he was in a season of Community. He was way back in John Carpenter's The Thing. The guy's been in everything, and he was in Nope. Recently, he was in Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope. He was the grandfather in like the opening scene of that movie. He's done it all, and he's done them all. As far as
Yeah,
I know.
and he is the voice of Miles, who is a saxophone, who just looks like a plastic thing with a big penis.
What was that? What was that, Kevin?
Tattertown.
Ooh.
Texted Jason that earlier.
That was Kevin doing an imitation of Keith
Hey,
David.
Tattertown.
And right off the bat, I saw some resemblances to Animaniacs in regards to the artwork.
That's in my notes. But we should say that he's narrating about a little girl who opens up a book with some of her toys, and they all get sucked into the book or
Yeah.
something.
It's
I
I didn't get it.
didn't really get it either.
I think this is a classic case of we've seen this before. Have you seen
Well,
that
to-
where like you
to
get
me-
sucked into the
Well,
page of
to
something?
me, though,
right?
a lot of it is loosely based on Alice in Wonderland.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. You get sucked into the
vortex of whatever
but
it is.
surely
the
you
fake
have
reality.
8 to 10 more seconds to throw in another line or two to make sense out of what we're saying.
Oh,
and the
none of us understood it
Yeah.
until it was like
the
made
beginning,
apparent.
when he's telling it
Yeah.
and setting it up, it's all in like colored pencil. It's not even animated. It's just drawings of colored pencil, and then it goes into.
That's
the
why
animation.
I was saying, panning shots of these things.
It's strange. Yeah. We don't know until we see the two characters, Debbie and is it Moffat or Muffet?
I think it's
Muffet.
Muffet.
Muffet. Debbie and Muffet and Dog. We see them in there, and it's like, okay, I guess they're in Tattertown. Like,
It's pretty discombobulated, the whole thing.
Well,
But I
okay,
think it's Muffet because, Little Miss Muffet.
Yeah,
sat
I
on
don't know
top,
why I
and
thought
down
it was
came a
Muffet.
spider, so she had the spider. It's part of
yeah.
Anyway, the little girl is confused about where she is, and some other toys in unison say that she's in Tattertown.
Yeah, and right off the bat, Muffet is super hella excited to be there because she can now be free. She can talk. She can touch.
She can move.
Well,
And-
what is Muffet?
A Muffet is
doll.
a doll.
Dolly.
Right.
I just want
Dalai Lama.
I may want to make sure it's clear what she was. The animation style, like you had mentioned, I wrote down. It reminds me of Animaniacs, and I even wrote down a little bit of All Dogs Go to Heaven. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that animated show, but that was a staple in young Jason's household.
Don't know it.
This is very mid '80s, early '90s style
Sure.
animation for sure.
Yeah,
Almost kind of a stop action kind of a thing.
It kind of does look stop action-ish.
It is, yeah, it is. It's very odd. Some of the things they do. is
Davy
very
and Goliath. Do you guys know that?
I don't know, Davy.
It reminded me of the Pee-wee's Playhouse animated.
Yeah.
The king of
parts.
cartoons comes in, introduces a cartoon.
Yeah, it looked like that to me. That was like my only reference for like mid to late '80s cartoons. I didn't really watch them, other than the classics.
Yeah.
Blake, describe what Tattertown looks like, please.
Tattertown is a place. It just everything looks like, or everything's been thrown away. Like this is all the stuff that's been thrown away, whether it's a doll or a kitchen utensil or something.
Discarded.
These are like the residents.
Yeah.
The town itself is like a lot of like cobblestone streets, and
Right.
kind of almost like
Right.
village houses, almost. Like European homes or something. It's very
European?
interesting. Well, I'm a pooping.
I'm about to be European.
The narrator, like you mentioned, is Niles, a saxophone, and he welcomes the audience to Tattertown, a place where everything you ever lost winds up.
That was the quote, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Forgotten objects come to rest there, and they become alive.
Pretty cool.
But some of the objects were like weird. There was a cash register.
Oh, yeah.
Who
Yeah,
was
it-
lost?
It was
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Who has lost a cash register?
I've lost a couple cash registers. Speak for yourself.
There's a time later I made a note of it too. Speaking of weird things that are alive, the one of the characters like hits its head or something and has stars around its head, and one of the stars becomes alive
It has
and
an ear.
pulls
Yeah.
its mouth open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fucking wild.
Yeah.
Some of this shit. Anyway,
Very odd.
all sorts of crazy craps going on here. We get another panning shot of like a bar inside of a bar at Tattertown, and we see different things that are alive. We see things drinking at table. We see like a boxing ring in the back, and then some thing getting kicked out the front door by like a spoon or something.
Yeah, he's like, what do
Very
you think?
weird.
What do you think
and he
this
called
is?
him a greasy spoon.
Yeah, what do you think this is? A greasy spoon or something like that?
Was
Yeah,
that the
it's-
spider?
No.
No, I don't think so. I
We
don't
haven't
think
seen
made
the
it
spider
to-
yet. The spider's in Cool Town, by the way.
The little girl's Debbie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Debbie.
So little Debbie's chasing down the
Not the
doll.
snack cake.
It is. It is the snack cake.
Oh, is it?
I
Fuck
lost
me.
What?
Oh, the Christmas trees are out, by the way.
Oh,
fucking
what?
Fucking get those.
Oh, the
Christmas-
little Debbie Christmas trees.
Fuck, yeah.
Oh, fuck! What
I
the?
forgot about those things.
I'm not even supposed to be here.
The girl Debbie's chasing down Muffet, and Muffet's saying, "I don't want to go back. I like being alive."
And she becomes like a mafia member. Like she instantly comes fucking angry.
All of a sudden.
and then she's like she's gonna shank a bitch. It's very
weird.
quickly.
What's the accent?
It's like a
the
mafia.
act?
Like a New York,
Yeah.
kind of.
I'm Muffet. Hey, fuck you.
Let's talk
Sounds
about
like my ex-wife.
let's talk about the motley crew that Debbie gets together. She has a dog that looks like
Named
he's
Dog.
stitched together by a bunch of stuff, and the dog kind of The dog kind
Can't
of
talk
Well, he
right.
kind of talks in a way where it's like he's like an
retarded.
abomination against God that wants to be killed. You know, like kill me. It's kind of like one of those.
I did find that fucked up about this. I was like,
the way he talked was
Yeah.
like, this thing is in pain or
Right.
something, right?
Like I was gonna say, like he sounds like handicapped or whatever, but he sounds like an abomination from God that wants to be dead.
I think I nailed it, right?
I think you really did.
I didn't know there was a special sound to being handicapped.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
He knows all of them.
Oh yeah, I know all. Yeah, handy capable.
They're also in Debbie's running crew is Harvey, and he looks.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's like a little stuffed toy bear, but he almost looks like an old school Disney kind of
Yeah.
cartoon.
It looks like Felix the cat. Honestly.
yeah, a little bit like that.
Gotcha.
You're right.
and he's like a boxer, and like he like starts some
got
shit with some guy. and
Child's
it-
voice too.
Yeah,
I enjoyed how he was a child's voice.
I bet you did.
Good Lord, that's the well Blake keeps.
I'm in
going
the
back
pocket,
to.
guys.
Yeah,
Still in
something.
the pocket. He's not out yet.
I don't know. He's too deep in the well.
You'll know the joke. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this about the show, Marty, but we don't do any editing.
I'm out,
Right.
I'm out of the pocket.
Yeah, he's out.
Just unofficially declared himself out of the pocket.
The residents
And
of
then officially-
Tattertown aren't aware of what Christmas is, which is odd because Santa clearly shows up later. You think he would. Debbie fixes Harvey's arm. His arm had fallen off. And there's like a lot of head trip kind of wacky shit happening that makes no sense. Like there's a pie here. We see a pie for just a moment threatening to pinch someone. Never comes up again. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I should have gotten real blazed before. I watched this.
Seriously. And then
You know what?
HR
I
puffing
just
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just may.
human resources puff and stuff. That's right.
I just may.
And,
Watch it again.
and this is the part after the pie where something gets hit in the head and the stars come
Yeah.
alive. And do you remember that? No.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
yes.
The
saw
star
it.
reaches into its own mouth and spreads its mouth.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Very
I
strange.
think that there is. It's one of those things where these artists. It's kind of like the whole thing about Disney, like the covers of everybody's got a penis in every one of them.
These are all the fired Disney animators for doing dirty shit,
they're
and
just
Disney
like,
came
oh, yeah,
together.
we're just they're like because it's so fast paced. They're just throwing shit in there.
What I thought about the animation style, speaking of that, is like it feels like each piece is its own thing. You know, like it's all very similarly animated, but it feels like each character was just developed by somebody else,
yeah.
and it was
Not
all,
necessarily to work together.
It was
Right.
not all supposed to be on the screen at the same time.
Right.
And for some reason, they were like, just
Throw it in
throw
there.
it all in there.
Yeah, throw it in there.
Yeah, just go for it. This is Tattertown, for fuck's sake.
This is one of many examples of shit going off the rails. In a building full of wooden shelves, there is a war waging amongst sentient objects, just throwing shit at each other. And then a spider comes in, and he's like trying to make his way through the madness. And that's
Yeah.
when Muffet shows up.
Yeah, and she just like, hey, everybody, I'm one in charge.
I'm the
now.
boss
I'm the
now.
boss now. This is where she really is like. All of a sudden, like she's just running and she's happy to be able to be alive,
Yeah.
and now she's fucking wanting to take over the whole goddamn town.
Marty,
Yeah.
I think the three of us are on the same page. Did you see something that we didn't see?
No.
Okay, because I have no idea why this is happening at this point in the pilot. Right? She comes in bossy and in
figure out
charge.
is they wanted it to be this like fucked up town, and so they wanted to make it as like discombobulated as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I could figure out.
They did it then. If that's what they wanted, they definitely did
Yeah.
It makes no
Mission
sense.
accomplished.
it. Muffet comes in, announces that she's in charge now or something, and then she immediately leaves. The spider follows her and says, "I'm going to take you over to, I think it's called Deadster Zone.
Yeah, I wrote
Yeah.
Deadster. Yeah, Deadster.
It's a place for
Deadster
war
Zone.
toys, TVs, and other unsavory characters."
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, the bad side of town, the wrong
Peeking.
side of the tracks. It's kind of like peeking to my East Peoria. That's exactly right. The spider introduces Muffet around, and she's not very impressed. And this is where I'm really hammering down. What does she want? Why is she evil?
Yeah, she nothing sets her off except for the fact that she doesn't want to go home.
We see a segment like Patton, right? She's standing in front of a big American flag, kind of like
Yeah.
quote unquote riling up the troops or the residents of this Deadster location.
There's
Yeah, she
there's
quickly
a lot too.
She quickly goes into power
yeah, so
to
quick.
where her hand almost goes like this
She's
when she's in front of the
very
It's
close
very
to-
close to going like this.
But it's just that Spider too is like her right hand man all of a sudden too.
He's on board. I think his name
he's-
is Sydney the Spider.
He's in Cool Town.
Cool World.
Cool World. Cool
Now,
Town.
that's
Cool World.
that's the one with Brad Pitt, right?
He's in it. The spider is the same spider.
Really?
Crossover.
I never
Interesting
saw that.
fact.
Did you ever see Cool World, Marty?
No, I didn't.
I saw a trailer for it about 2 hours ago.
Okay, fair enough.
What is it?
It's like a Roger Who Framed Roger Rabbit type animated, not animated thing.
But it's supposed to be like a harder, like a hard PG-13 version of that.
and
right?
and it capitalized from it came out after Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
Whoever
And,
Brad
Kim Basinger's in there.
whoever Brad Pitt's agent was like, he's like, you know how you got a lot of heat off of that Thelma and Louise? He's like, yeah, things are going real well. He's like, why don't you do a movie with a bunch of cartoons?
Well, Kim Basinger, she there's like this really fucking sexy cartoon lady in it. She comes to life, and it's Kim Basinger.
Everyone wanted to fuck Jessica Rabbit. So someone was just like running to that, with
yeah.
I had
to
this
Hollywood saying, we got to make a version of a even sexier fuckable Jessica Rabbit.
I had this friend in high school who had just insane proportions. She ended up getting a breast
You
reduction
got to do it.
because they were just too big. And she was Jessica Rabbit one year, and I'm like, how perfect. She like literally looked like Jessica Rabbit for Halloween. And I was like, I'm not even like attracted. I'm like, this is so good.
You got that? You got that on your phone?
Yeah, I'll find it.
All right, thanks.
I'll go. This is so good.
You don't really have to do that.
No, I'm going to because I just remembered it.
She announces herself as Muffet the Merciless, and then we get this is right after this part is where we get it's like 2 minutes or something of just black screen.
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't get that.
I think it's
And
probably where they put the
the
commercials
tape.
in.
Absolutely, and I apologize. I never watched the pilot all the way through before I sent it to people being on the show, so I didn't know that was coming. And I assume no one stopped watching at that
I fell
point. and
asleep.
you
No, I
just-
did. Is
I
it
fell asleep.
started going on? I'm like, is it over? But then I did fast forward.
Okay.
Yeah. It happened twice.
I fell asleep both times.
Back in Tattertown, everyone or everything, however you want to see them, is searching for Christmas memorabilia, and then a sketchy wreath with a mustache tries to sell Harvey a cigar, and Harvey says that's not nice, and then goes to punch him.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And if they don't know what Christmas is, how do they explain what he is? Because if he came from somewhere and he was discarded, he would know that he's a Christmas wreath.
No, he was
I
a wreath.
guess.
No, he was a wreath. Frankly,
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 he was a wreath. Frankly,
you know what? The fourth time we got it.
he's having the time of his life.
I'm out of the pocket.
That exchange though, like a wreath wanting to sell a cigar, and him being so upset that he tries to punch him, it doesn't make any sense.
No. The whole thing. Yeah. Well, so far,
We're just
I'm waiting for sense to come. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's obvious that they were all really, really high.
They
when
had
made
to.
this.
Something was up.
Yeah.
The plot is limping along, and it's kind of almost just like to fill time with a variety of non sequiturs. That's all we're seeing.
Yeah.
Debbie is happy to see the wreath because it means it's Christmas related, and then she gets emotional thinking about Christmas and tries to explain to the others what Christmas is all about, minus anything religious. There's nothing religious mentioned here as it relates to Christmas.
Correct.
Others are also getting excited. And then some mosquito was spying on Debbie and others and reports back to Muffet, and Muffet doesn't like what's going on with this kind of happiness and celebration and gearing up for Christmas, so she wants to stop it. And she also appears to have stubble. Did anyone notice that the doll
Yes.
appears to have a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow?
Yes. Yeah. It in classic mobster
Yeah.
form.
Did you see this at all?
Yeah.
Just right around under the nose, right around the cheeks.
And again, none of it just makes any sense.
It's kind of funny. Like there's a lot of things that could be funny. It just if it made
I think they were all really, really high when they did it. I think that's the answer. And there were these little in jokes among all of them.
Yeah.
that's probably what it
And
was.
like I said, each thing was just thrown on there, and there's one of them that's like, oh, wait for the guy that's
This'll be
fingering
funny.
his asshole in the background. You don't see it unless you're looking for it, you know.
Muffet sends out some spies, one of which is supposed to sound like John Wayne, and the other might be a gay guy. I don't know. They have very specific voices.
Yeah, that John Wayne.
The other one was a light, like a desk lamp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a phone, like the talk part of a phone.
Oh, man, I don't know. Harvey and Debbie go to a bookstore for some reason, and all the books and their contents come to life, and then
Ten and
all these guys pop out of books. One guy, this is insane. A guy pops out of a book in a suit wearing a machine gun. Then he holds up a plate of spaghetti and he says, "I love Italian food."
Yeah, it makes
that is it for that guy.
Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah, it's
It's
very
so
odd.
fucked up. And you know what Nickelodeon said? Played every year till 1992.
Yeah. Well, and so then they talked to Tannenbaum, who is he's like a tree leaf.
He's just branch. He's like the sad Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
And
Barely anything
Well,
on it.
correct me if
he's
I'm wrong,
Jewish,
Marty,
obviously.
but Tannenbaum is Jewish for tree. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Tannenbaum is the
it's-
song?
It's German for tree.
I think that's what I said, isn't it?
You said
You
Jewish.
said Jewish.
Oh, I said Jewish? I meant German.
Ooh.
Whoops.
Ooh.
Still.
Out of the
don't-
pocket.
But he was.
Don't,
but he was
don't mix those two up.
out of the pocket.
Marty, you're driving home.
No, but he was a Jewish guy, Tannenbaum.
Yeah.
Oi, hey,
Yeah.
you guys come up to me about Christmas.
They
It's
want
like so
Debbie
obvious
Debbie
Jew.
wants him to be the official tree of the town, Christmas tree of the town.
How does she get him to do it?
By saying there's no competition, right?
What the fuck does that even? And he's like, "Oh, I'll do it."
Yeah, like he's so enticed by it. Is that supposed to be like a Jewish stereotype or something?
That's what I was thinking.
I don't
like,
know.
Like what?
Do-
They're
do-
trying.
Do
to...
the Jewish people hate competition? I don't understand. I don't know.
I
There's
really do
nothing.
think this is just a series of jokes that they're like, oh, this will be really
Yeah,
funny.
it's just
It's kind of like the
jokes.
first 6 episodes of Couch Pilots, the television show. It's all just inside jokes that 7 people are laughing at.
That's exactly right. There's even a part, I think that it's coming up. I don't know if you have this noted, but she goes like, "Aww." Did you write that down? Did anybody write that down? Debbie, she just goes like,
Oh,
"Aww." Literally that long. And it has nothing
reason.
to do. Like, she was just saying that about little fucking Felix the cat guy. I forgot
yeah.
his
So then the machine gun nose guy and the
name.
light,
the gay phone.
the gay phone light, they end up
Ring.
they end up turning into good guys, and
Yeah,
so
all of a
they
sudden.
cut back to and Muffet's like she opens up a safe and she's super excited because there's one piece of
Yeah.
it was-
Lasagna in it? What was
no, it was
it?
a piece of pie,
I
but
think
it was
it's tobacco pie.
tobacco
Yeah,
because there was
cigarettes
just
are in it.
cigarette butts in it. And I
What
was
the
just like,
fuck?
I was like, what? Yeah.
It was a sandwich, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a piece of pie. It was like one
Okay.
slice of pie.
You know the great thing about the film, the cinema, Back to the Future.
A lot of great things.
Every fucking line is paid off. Everything from the beginning, everything you see is paid off later. If you are a sharp-eyed watcher, it'll pay off for you big time. This, complete opposite.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
pays
Single
off for
thing.
anything. Nothing makes sense at all. Every line is a throwaway.
Yeah.
Every line's a throwaway.
Anyway. A mosquito shows up with a postcard for Muffet. It's from her spies, and they're saying they're having a great time. This really upsets her.
They say, "Wish you were here."
Yeah. Elsewhere, the spider puts on a golden crown, which
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
think there's no precedent set for this at all.
There's something right. The scene right before. I think that he thinks that Muffet's not in charge anymore.
She's not around anymore.
Yeah, she's not around
I
or
don't want
something.
to be around
There's
anymore.
Oh no, because she was freaking out, like crying. She was so mad she was crying or something. And he's like, "Hey, yeah, she's broke. I'm the king."
And he goes to a treasure chest, and again, everything in the chest seems to be sentient. All the coins and everything.
Oh, was he? It looked like he was getting. He was in a bath full of piss.
At one point, it looks like I think in this scene, yeah, he gets like kicked into a
She's
bathtub.
like, "What are you doing with my crown on?" It's like, "You've never had the crown on. I don't know why we're supposed to know why there's a crown.
It's never been mentioned, and I'm in a big old tub full of piss.
And let me shove you in this tub." And all of a sudden, yellow starts coming out
Yes.
after he's
Yeah.
in. And it's like, "What's this a tub full of?
Yeah.
Is this her piss?"
So
She's a doll.
so-
Does piss exist in Tattertown? Apparently, yes.
it's a piss test. So then Muffet dresses Spider up as a reindeer.
She is so quickly over this crown thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Instantly.
Mounts him and goes and runs off a cliff where the
mosquito.
mosquito saves him and flies him.
It's very reminiscent of The Grinch Who Stole Christmas
Yes.
here, right?
Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Grinch
call-
alert.
we call him Mox, by the way.
Yeah.
The so she all the other residents of the
an
Deadster
inside joke.
zone are kind of like getting them all together,
Speaking-
like to make a big.
Speaking of piss, the dog pisses on himself. He can't help it. Stands outside and pisses on himself.
On his
Yeah,
legs?
yeah, you own fucking
He has front legs.
you
He
own
stands
stupid
up,
dogs.
pisses, and he pisses on his front legs.
On his front legs? How? So it just sprays forward onto his front legs? I thought you meant back legs. It goes onto his
How
front
did we
legs?
get here?
This is forward.
Blake's dog's name is
That's-
Mox, but it
that's
used to be
every,
Max. And so I said Max the dog, and he goes, "Oh, we call him Mox." And then he started talking about
Why?
his dog pisses all
What
over his
is
fucking
Mox?
legs.
Why would you change it from Max?
John Moxley?
Real name.
It was
to Mox?
it was Moxley. Yeah.
John Moxley. He's a
Yeah.
wrestler.
Okay, well then just name it Moxley then.
Well, no, that sounds gay.
It does. So you're
Hey,
naming. You're
I named my
naming
dog
it.
after a gay wrestler.
Yeah, yeah. That's your logic's bad on your end.
That dog is gonna get AIDS.
It sounds like it.
He that's how he got AIDS. He got AIDS. Now he pisses on himself.
That's what happens.
I said.
Talk to Magic Johnson.
Yeah. He's,
Talk to Magic Johnson. Marty wrote an
Magic
article about
Johnson's
it.
been pissing on himself for years.
Blake told me a while back. He said my dog pisses on itself. I was like, oh, that's disgusting. So every time the dog comes in, you get
Towel
a
him
towel or
off?
something. You wash him. He says no, no.
No, I just let him.
So Blake, basically, what Blake says to me is, my house is full of piss.
And vinegar.
and vinegar.
It's called Bike's Way. Let's see. Get
Okay,
us back
so-
on track.
yeah, so-
Mox Way.
You fucked us up. You get us back on
Mox
track.
Way.
So they do this
Moxley.
aerial it's
Areola.
Assault.
It was like it's like World War II kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother anybody.
Yeah, everybody, they don't even look up.
And then Debbie is like on the ground, like giving her Christmas message. Obviously, like every
She finally gets to it.
right.
And it starts talking about like, oh, Christmas is blah, 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 magical. She starts talking about it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Ben Crosby's White Christmas starts.
Yeah.
playing.
What does she pop it on a phonograph or something?
Yeah, she cranks it up.
She goes, if this doesn't get them to feel for Christmas, and immediate waterworks from everybody. Everybody just starts pissing all over the
And I
place.
wonder what they had to pay to get the rights to use that.
I would assume that by then it was
Public domain.
public domain.
There had to be something.
There's no way you
know.
would have pissed
At the-
away money
Well,
on.
at the end, they gave credit to it, so it's like I don't know. It might have been public. My thoughts were exactly where yours were.
Yeah,
As soon as
I'm
it
like,
started
how
happening,
much did they have to pay?
probably why it didn't get picked up.
Next thing is
Probably why there's no DVD.
right. Muffet is captured and she's in a jail and Debbie is taking her back and that's it.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
They see Santa briefly.
It's fine. Yeah, you didn't talk about Santa at all,
Crossing a
Blake.
zone of turbulence.
They see him briefly.
Hold on,
I'm out of the pocket.
Blake.
Yeah.
You didn't mention Santa at all.
You've been a bad boy.
He's so out. He's so out of it.
I'm so tired.
All
Out
right,
of the pocket.
Turbulence. Now, like I mentioned, there's something that Bakshi had done with that Mighty Mouse New Adventures that got this canceled, but there are other factors here, right? Like
Like it didn't make sense.
that's
all?
that's so much of it. But okay, so we talked about a show that did kind of make sense. It was like was it like Troll Adventures or something? And it's like it was
yeah,
clearly it was or like the Charmkins. We did the Charmkins
so
and like
there's these toys. We have to sell these toys. Let's make a cartoon.
yeah, and the toys were like for kids like 6 to 9 years old. This tiny little window, and it's like, how much sense does it have to make for a kid?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Not
but
much.
and I'm sure you could do toys from this show if you wanted to. You know, put a couple of googly eyes on a
There's
a serving spoon, and that'd be it.
Yeah, there weren't enough like notable characters. I mean, Debbie was just like not very remarkable
There
looking.
wasn't a standout thing. in
Yeah,
there.
the spider really
It was
was
just
the coolest
all
one.
this junk that, like I say, I think they were all just in jokes.
It
That
had to have been.
it just reminded me of people sitting around really high, laughing,
Just like
at
a writer's
stuff,
room or
laughing
something, yeah.
at stuff that's not funny.
I've attributed some recent Saturday Night Live bits to be like, oh, they keep saying that one word over and over again. I bet a writer said that once,
Yeah,
and they
maybe.
worked backwards from that on a
Yeah.
sketch, and now I'm watching kind of a half-baked piece of shit on live TV.
Yeah.
That's, I think, maybe what this is. You know,
Yeah.
a series of just like dumb gags. They tried to horseshoe or
Yeah, let's put that in there.
yeah, I don't know.
And yes, like Bakshi
there wasn't
is
an
the,
editor
Yeah.
for the story.
Bakshi is the yes man.
yeah,
Yeah.
that might be it. Blake, what would you do to improve this?
There's no
Not me.
continuity.
No.
There's no. Muffet is the main character. I would say more so than Debbie. But where did it come from? It just came out of nowhere that she was all like a bitch. You know?
We have to instantly accept the
whatever
reality
changes,
that we're given.
and they're
Yeah.
changing whatever to make the next scene go.
It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to keep going,
Right.
right? If it survived it's just going to be these two warring factions, I assume.
Yeah. 39 episodes.
39.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
That does seem a little crazy to me.
That's a fever dream.
I've never heard of a show with 39 episodes.
To start.
Exactly.
Well, they did something weird in the past 10 years. After Charlie Sheen left 2.5 Men, they started doing this weird thing in Hollywood where they'd be like, we'll sign a show and we'll do 100 episodes. I think 100 episodes is kind of the mark that you hit where you can go into syndication.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a guaranteed chunk of real money. So Charlie Sheen signed up for that weird show on, I don't know if it was FX or what it was, but Anger Management.
Yeah.
And instantly they did 100 episodes and they pumped them out in like 4 or 5 years.
They did 100 episodes.
Yeah.
of that.
So quick.
I never saw an episode of that, but I heard about this new thing that they were doing, and they did a few series that way.
Huh.
But back in the 80s, that wasn't. I think you did a season of cartoons. It was probably only like 13.
Yeah.
You know,
13 at the most.
yeah, and then it's usually like 22 to 25 if you're doing like a sitcom on a network back then.
Cartoons as a show on television, you're going to have the best answer for this. They weren't really around. Was that the case
When?
in the 80s? Like
The
the
80s,
late,
I don't know.
The late 80s, early 90s is kind of when cartoons
Not
on
prime
TV,
time.
Yeah, well, like on Nickelodeon or whatever. Like that didn't happen really. Like a series of cartoons. Like I can't think of any.
Besides Saturday
besides
morning.
like the Saturday morning cartoons.
The only
you
cartoon
know?
I think had any kind of like prime time presence, I think the Flintstones was prime time. Is that right?
Flintstones was
Maybe the Jetsons.
I was just gonna say. I think the Jetsons
I remember the
were.
Jetsons. Yeah.
So they were prime time, but anything other than that, there were so few channels that you were relegated to Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like Simpsons come around in what, early 90s.
First episode aired at the end of '89.
89.
Wow.
So Simpsons.
Well,
is,
they were on the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah,
before
Tracy
that.
Ullman. Yeah. So it's kind of the thing where you guys talk about TV pilots from the 50s. They're throwing everything at the wall to see if they can stick.
It's a
right?
brand new medium.
It's a brand new thing. Nobody's really doing this. So I think that this was just like, yeah, let's order 39 of this without ever seeing one. And then they finally did, and they're like,
No.
I don't like this.
Minus
Hey,
39?
maybe make it watchable, and then we'll talk again.
Can we just pay you not to pick up a pen?
Yeah.
again?
I wonder if they did get paid for 39 though.
I don't know if
Oh,
they probably
no.
didn't get paid. They probably only paid them for the one, right? And
I don't
just
know.
That's a hell of
It
a lot to
depends
be
on the
paid for, not
contract.
produce. Hey, other people have seen Christmas in Tattertown. My God, they aired it 4 years in a row for whatever reason on Nickelodeon.
Your Haffer.
Other people from around the world have rated it and graded it. Blake, what do you think? IMDb, what's the average score? 1 out of 10 scale, decimal points in play. What did people from around the world?
Don't ask Blake yet. I'm gonna say
Kevin, stepping up to the plate.
2.6.
2.6. Marty, you want to hazard a guess?
I'll try 3.4.
Black?
6.3.
Blake looked it up. It is a 6.3 out of 8.
Cheater.
Out of 86.
I
ratings.
reversed it. I did a 2.6.
His
I was
pants-
gonna be 6.3,
Pants are on
3.6.
fire.
Are you okay?
I'm out of the pocket.
He's real fucked up. Viewer reviews, 8 out of 10.
I'm just fucking exhausted. I ate carbs,
this
drank
pilot-
beer, and now I'm up past my bedtime.
This pilot made Blake cry.
What's your?
And why are we doing it tonight?
made
Why
you
are we
cry.
recording tonight?
Because I had a dead parent and then got his car
Because
behind.
there's many reasons that added up to that. But that's part of
Because
it.
I got a
your,
dead
What time is your bedtime?
It never was this early.
I will go to bed at 8:30. I have no problem.
Oh,
with
man.
that.
but it's never been this early.
That's
Marty's barely hitting the pocket at 1 a.m. All right? 8 out of 10 stars, viewer reviews, Gonzo Animation, Tobacco Pie, and Christmas. New
you go.
Type 1 from June 13th, 2013 says, I recorded this show when it first ran on Nickelodeon and watched it countless times. Sorry.
What the fuck? What do you do?
I'm in the pocket. Countless times over Christmas and school vacation over the years. No matter how many times I saw it, it always seemed fresh. There was so much strange stuff happening. Some gags I got right away when Muffet meets Sydney the Spider.
when I was really high.
High out of his gourd. She's basically walking into the last scene of every Merry Melodies cartoon, where
What?
all the citizens mobilize to beat up the bad guy who kidnapped the hero's girlfriend. But I never got the joke or the irony about the Christmas tree, Mr. Tannenbaum, being Jewish until I was much older. You know, there
Wow.
is that, but like I said, they took out all the religion related to it, so it's not as big a factor. But Tannenbaum is the name. Tannenbaum really is a name of people,
Yeah.
and also it means tree. So I don't know.
Tree people?
Anyway, if Tattertown had been picked up, it would perhaps jumpstart the adult animation boom that The
Oh, I'm
Simpsons
sure it
and
would.
Ren and Stimpy eventually pioneered. Anyway, Some others complain that the characters are undeveloped, but this was a pilot. Also, sometimes Bakshi just rolls that way. I'd rather watch a cartoon with amazing animation that makes me laugh anyway. I think this is actually one of Bakshi's best productions. I enjoyed it way more than Wizards or Lord of the LOTR, which I assume is the 70s version of Lord of the Rings. Was that him?
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, I looked it up.
What's so funny over here?
No, I'm just cracking up because he's crying.
I'm yawning. Whenever I yawn, my eyes water.
It just makes it
I'm
seem
not
like
being a little bitch.
it just makes it seem like he's like,
He's really invested in Tattertown.
well, yeah, either that or like they're
Jewish people.
like it could very much be. This is not out of the realm of possibility that there could be something else going on, but I know that there's not.
This is just the way he is.
Just the way he is, just crying. God, that's funny. To me, it's funny.
We got ourselves a real fucking crybaby here.
Hey, Muffet told me if I cried again, I'd be out of the gang.
You sound like Muffet.
Jimmy Muffet?
Muffet the
Now you're
Merciless.
back in the pocket, I think.
Oh, yeah. He's firing at all cylinders now.
Pocket, buddy.
Stood away in
Tobacco
pie.
Listening and watching Blake right now is like when a dementia patient like comes back just for a few minutes, like
Right
that-
before they die.
It's like, mom, you know who I am, right? It's like, oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you're my daughter. I know.
Then she bursts into tears.
Yep. Oh, gosh.
Oh boy. Okay, let's go ahead and grade the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like should we start with Blake and then immediately dismiss him to bed?
You're dismissed.
Are you with it enough to talk about
in the morning.
Blake, it's never
You
an
do
issue.
you do these things to yourself, and you know that you do. Would you like to discuss the grading scale?
Sure, I would. Grading scale is based off of the television show from the 90s, Wings. All the characters. 1 being the worst, that's a Roy Biggins. And 7 being the best, that's a Brian Hackett. Kevin,
Yes.
how would you rate Christmas Time in Tattertown?
Is it Christmas time in Tattertown or is it just Christmas in Tattertown?
It's just Christmas in.
Christmas in Tattertown? I am going to rate this a strong 1.
Oh man.
I don't ever really give low scores on this show. Marty, if you can tell, I've been on this podcast a number of times.
Well, you've co-hosted.
I was the co-host for a mere 6 episodes. But I...
Best 6 weeks of my life.
Best 6
Same.
weeks. Yeah,
Same for
best 6
me.
weeks of my life. But
Now, did you cry when you co-hosted?
I did. I cried multiple times.
He tried to keep the tone of the show.
It's the altitude. It's the altitude. You guys don't
Hey,
understand.
we're not on the ground yet.
He has ocular pressure.
Oculus rip pressure.
Ocular pressure. I rarely give anything below like a 2 or a 3, just because I'm like, oh, they tried. But this was just absolute fucking shit.
1s and 7s are a rarefied air
For me specifically.
for anyone. We
anybody.
don't get a lot of them, but yeah, for you.
I got to be in the audience hearing Blake give a 7 last week, so that was pretty cool. Or am I spoiling next week?
No, that was for last
was-
week.
yeah,
We're
for
not
last week,
recording these out of order. Marty, as our other guest, we turn to you. How do you rate Christmas in Tattertown?
I'll give it a.
No decimals. Okay, good.
I learned about the decimals.
Thought you were gonna go to
last
decimals.
He didn't want to be
episode.
frowned upon.
It's frowned upon.
No, I really don't care about being frowned upon. That's happened to me my whole
I've
life.
built a career about you
Yeah.
being frowned
Right.
upon.
So you give it a 2?
Yeah.
All right, Captain Philip, rest assured, I yawn towards you. How do you rate Christmas in Tattertown?
I'm gonna give it a 3 just because, like, I don't know.
It
I
brought him to tears.
No,
It really did.
I don't know.
They tried.
I do enjoy that kind of Animaniacs kind of, and there was actually in this there was an Animaniac in it.
Oh, really? Which one?
Yeah, it was. Well, it just was the it's the black with the, but he was at the bar. He was at the table at one of the bars.
Oh, one of the guys was.
Yeah.
That
would make sense.
Yeah, I don't know if he had anything to do with.
No, it was
creating
it was a
but
crappy
but he
version
just
of
looked
it.
like
But
it.
it was
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. It's giving it a 3. I'm just being nice.
Yeah. Well, you're a nice guy who's very, very tired.
Oh, nice.
Very sensitive,
Blake.
apparently.
Nice, Blake.
Jason, how would you rate?
I'm gonna give it a 3 as well. I really like the animation in this. It's wild, and in one of the reviews I did not get to because I was trying to hurry along because Blake was in tears. But one of them mentions like Gonzo animation, which maybe best describes the madness that is this
Sure.
cartoon. I like the animation style. I like the voice acting. There's a lot of great voice actors at work here. The story is for shit, and I don't think it's probably originally going to be called Junktown. but or Tattertown, but they changed it to Christmas in Tattertown. I think once they realized this is only going to be a one-off thing.
Right. They had to shove
Oh,
Christmas in there somehow.
Yeah, you're not going to build a series about Christmas week after week. You know,
True.
The only
June 1st
thing-
rolls around. We're not fucking interested in another Christmas cartoon.
I think the animation for me is the only thing that saved it from, like a zero.
Being
I
a
mean,
one? Oh,
or
okay.
being a zero, because I'm like, it's fine to look at.
Yeah.
I remember this type of thing, like I said, the Pee-wee's thing, and then also that Cool World. I have seen that, or like Roger Rabbit-esque kind of like, I've seen that style,
I
and
just miss hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
All the fucking every time you go see a cartoon now, it's a computer thing, and,
Yeah.
and it's like just kissing that uncanny valley where it's almost Tom Hanks in Polar Express, where it's weird looking.
Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
I just,
God,
like,
that is so weird.
I miss hand drawn cartoons.
Yeah.
I like this animation. I think that the story was just insane.
Yeah.
So many weird things are happening. It's amusing for a little bit, but at the end of the day, you want some sort of cohesive story. It just wasn't here.
I'm gonna go ahead and get real stoned, and I'm gonna report back.
I would love to hear a report.
If it's watchable.
We should call Kevin later, next round of episodes.
Yeah. Do that, please.
With my score of a 3, Blake's score of a 3, Marty's of a 2,
Right.
and Kevin
1.
coming in hot as a 1.
The loneliest number.
That's right. Three Dog Night wrote that song.
Someone say
Harry Nilsson.
Oh,
wrote
my
it.
bad. I'm sorry. My mistake.
Lime in the coconut.
That was a discussion we had earlier at his apartment. We shall close the book on Christmas in Tattertown, and we'll never speak of that show again.
ever.
But join us next time, won't you please, as we continue on in our animation season, as we watch the pilot episode of Penguins Behind Bars. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. Doris Fairfeather is a penguin framed by her boyfriend Charlie Abalone for pearl robbery and is sentenced to prison. While there, fellow jailbird Madam Millie teaches Doris the life of prison and how to clear her name. You can find the entire episode of Penguins Behind Bars by subscribing to Couch Pilots and
stoked.
You have to get pretty stoned to watch it. SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube. Kevin?
And you know what to do, Tube.
Thank you.
Now, I used to be on the road for my job when I was doing outside sales, and I would watch most of the pilots. That
He had
they
a lot
would
of time
talk
to
about.
kill.
A lot of time to kill on the road and just in hotels by myself. So I used to watch pretty much every single one. And every time I come on here, I watch both, even if I'm only going to be on one.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched the Dead Time Stories or whatever. And I'm going to watch that Penguin one, too.
Oh, what about Dead Time Stories? Do you have a rating for that over here?
Not great. I'll go 3.
3, okay.
Yeah, didn't really like it.
Where can people find us, Blake?
You go to couchpodspodcast.com. It's one-stop shop. All your needs. You can get every single episode there. You can also hear every single episode on Spotify. Fuck iTunes.
We are there, but he does like to say fuck iTunes for some
Yeah,
reason.
you can go. You can go to our. You can email us. Go to our Instagram page. That's the thing.
Instagram page.
It's blowing up.
It is.
You can
not.
go to our Facebook page. It's going to be season 38.
Yeah.
Season 38.
Just change it to Bobby Sox Lover 88.
I love it, Barry Bobby.
I know you
It's one
do.
of his many sexual proclivities.
Yeah, go to Couch Pilots or Patreon/Couch Pilots. What is it?
Patreon is a great opportunity for us to get your money. And by your money, I mean you listening at home or wherever you are. Give us your money. We want it.
Yep.
Just a little bit, not a lot.
No, we always put it back toward the show. so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dump out your coins and pour me a beer, you know?
Good callback.
Dump out your coins and pour me a beer. That is good.
Kevin, I work with you on the radio rerun program.
That's correct.
Would you like to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so we talk about television pilots that only had one episode.
I don't think that's it.
No, we talk about the charts, the Billboard top 10 charts of any given week in the years 2012, 2002, 1992, and 1982. and we rank. We don't rank. We pit against each other 2 decades per week. So let's say tomorrow we're recording. We have 1992 versus 2012.
Yeah.
Number 10 going head to head with what was number 10 on the charts 10 years ago versus 30 years ago. So
And at the end, when we calculate everyone's votes, what does it add up to?
nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Absolutely no reason why we're doing it.
No reason other
and
than to get
that's-
together and drink beer.
and talk about music
Yeah.
that happened in those weeks. So
I told
yeah,
Marty he should come on that show sometime. I see you'd be a perfect.
Oh, I'd love to.
I've been vying for you to come on the show
Yeah,
for a
no,
while.
I mean, music's always been a big part
yeah,
of
we
my
don't
life.
really have guests. That's the only thing. Is like we've only had two guests.
Why would you guess that we don't have guests for that show?
Well, because we don't try.
I would say it is a big ask.
Oh well, yeah.
For
'cause
someone,
you have
someone
to watch
come on.
40
No,
songs.
no. You'd have to watch 20. Most people aren't going to do 2 episodes of that
sure,
show.
I mean,
sure,
I
yeah.
would probably know them anyway.
Yeah.
You'd probably know the songs, but we do talk about the videos too. A lot of them
Okay.
have music videos.
Yeah, it is a huge.
It's a big
I
ask to have
forgot
someone.
about
Hey,
that.
you
That
want to
makes
come on our show?
sense.
Here, watch these 20 fucking short films. I go, what? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No,
I mean, do you ever go pre-video, like in 70s, 60s?
No,
No,
we
just
started
starts
at
at
82.
82.
Okay.
Some 82 stuff doesn't have videos though.
George Benson special. George Benson. What was the name of the George Benson song?
I don't remember. But
Yeah.
it was a good funky tune.
Yeah, and then there's sometimes where songs don't have a video, and we call it the George Benson special because he was the first one of all the songs that we talked about in 1982 that didn't have a video, just a picture of his face.
Well, one of the bands that started the music videos was the Beatles.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
They did Paperback Writer and Rain. Those were one of the first two. I saw George Harrison talking about it, and he's like, somebody said, why don't you just do a video? And we're like, that's genius.
Oh, yeah.
Then we can just send that to all the TV shows.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Okay,
Ed Sullivan played.
So that's what they did with those. They would just send them to TV shows
Yeah.
and shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
and that way they didn't have to go.
Talk shows, variety shows, that kind
Ed
of stuff.
Sullivan had like the premiere for Paperback Writer.
Interesting.
Because I remember watching it.
That's what I was wondering. Is like you make these old, like MTV obviously was made to do that, but before that, if someone made a video, where did it go? Where could it be seen? And apparently,
TV shows.
Yeah,
Apparently
just
that's
anywhere.
it.
But there weren't that many that were made.
Yep.
Well, speaking of you speaking, how about you plug the cool stuff you're working on, Marty?
I got Meanwhile back in Peoria.com. It's my blog. And like we said, December 10th, it will be 10 years of doing that thing, which is crazy.
Incredible.
It updated almost every day. I miss a day now and again, but almost every day doing different stuff. To have the Midwest Slice of Life, that's almost every Monday. We're off this week. There's going to be a little transition to where I'm kind of taking that over. But my goal for that is I'm going to go twice a week. I'm going to do the food tour. On Friday, I'm going to do something called Fast Food Friday, where I go get fast food.
Yeah, I like the little preview of that.
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago or whenever.
And then
it
my
was. Yeah.
goal is then on Wednesdays, it's going to be lunch with Marty.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's going to be my goal moving forward. But it's
I
gonna take me a
enjoyed
while.
the taste of what's to come.
Thank
I'll
you.
Say. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was literal taste.
Yeah.
I think last time Marty was on, he was talking about how he sometimes will go get lunch somewhere and just like show up at a business or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Right?
Can I eat my lunch?
Yeah. Can I
Yeah.
eat my lunch here? That's such a
They
great.
kind of stopped with COVID. I'm going to bring that back
Yeah.
now.
Oh, so that's going to be separate from lunch with Marty.
Oh, yeah, no, that's for the blog.
Oh, well, I didn't know if that
blog,
was
yeah.
going to be kind of in the same vein as
No,
that
no.
idea.
For that, what I do is, and it's the most uncomfortable
I
thing.
love it.
You know, people, it's the most popular thing on my blog.
Yeah.
To do it, it's really uncomfortable.
I can
'cause
only
you're-
imagine.
You're making people uncomfortable, and I try and go to places where they don't know who I am.
Yeah.
So I show up, and it's like usually with the receptionist, and I always say, I have this blog, and I have a bit where I go to a business and I eat my lunch in here. So could I like eat this lunch in your lunchroom? And almost 100% they say, I don't understand what it is.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to eat my lunch in here. And it's
so
been about
good.
50-50. 50% people have let me do it.
yeah.
But 50% are like, get out
Yeah.
of here.
Yeah. Just like
Blake, if
I
you were
don't
forced
think
to
we're
do that,
comfortable with
where would you go? Where you think you'd have the best luck?
that they don't know you at.
And it's got to be a business.
That they don't know you at, and it's a business.
I would say cell phone companies.
I was going to say the
Oh, like
marital aid store. You don't think it's that place, though?
They wouldn't want you taking pictures in there.
Ugh.
I would say
Probably smells weird.
My lunch?
that Hawaiian or Himalayan pink salt cave. That's where I would go.
On Pioneer Parkway?
I've done a blog on that.
Yeah. I would go. Did you do that? Hey, can I have
No,
my lunch here? That's
no.
where I would do it.
The one place maybe I'll restart it at, you know the green door? on Farmington Road.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
For whatever reason,
In the booth, one of there.
the new people that own that love me. I went in there before the new people owned it because somebody said, "Oh, they'll never let you do it."
Yeah.
I went in, I do this blog. The guy behind the counter, he's like, "No, you can't take pictures in here." And I have learned not just to walk away. And I said, "Well,
Good salesman.
I said, "Do you care if I just look around?" He's like, "No." I like wore him down.
Yeah.
And I said something here. I asked him a couple more times, and I'm like, "Oh, they had VHS tapes in there, a stack of them." I'm like, "Jesus Christ, you still got VHS tapes?" Yeah. I'm like, "Could I just take a picture of those?" He's like, "All right."
All right.
I took the picture. Then I'm like, "Let me just get one of that back wall." Okay.
Hurry up.
And then I thought I'm just going to start taking
No
pictures
flash.
until he throws. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I got the whole place.
I would like to plug Marty's Twitter, where we have the Marty morning poll.
That's become really popular. I don't know why.
I love it.
Thanks.
I vote every time.
Oh, well,
if
thank
if
you.
there's one vote on it, it's more than likely mine.
Oh, well, thank you.
But it's great. You say like
He usually gets like 30, 40 votes. So yeah.
yeah.
Some days it's like 50 or 60.
Yeah, I vote
70.
pretty often on those two.
It's
yeah.
great. It's
Always the least is 30.
yeah. It's
But like
it's,
I think yesterday's got like 43.
Yeah.
it's just like a quick
It's a fun
thing,
thing.
and it's really funny. And
Well, one thing
enjoy
I
it,
like
yeah.
to do is to do stuff that's not connected with anything.
Yeah.
Like the blog. I read somewhere a long time ago, they're like, if you're trying to promote something, if you're on social media, put a couple posts up that have nothing to do
Correct.
with what you're doing.
That's correct. Yeah.
Because that way, it's not like you're just being this out and
Yeah.
out, plugging.
it's not the way to
machine.
do it as a millennial, who is
Right.
the target audience of social media, most of it.
Yeah.
Gen Z, they're a non-traditional social media, but
Really?
like they're more new age, TikTok, Snapchat, that stuff. That does not appeal to the masses,
Right.
Right, and if you are trying to appeal to them, you're wrong because they don't take to traditional forms of media. I am the target audience. Millennials are, and so I love it. It's perfect.
No thanks.
You do it great. I plug.
Marty
it's
is
just
doing a
your
lot of
first and
great
last
work.
name, right, on Twitter. Your first and last name.
Yeah,
on
but
Twitter.
Marty
Yeah,
Wambacher.
at Marty Wambacher. Look at
Follow Marty on Twitter.
Yeah.
You won't be sorry.
Yeah.
Check out Meanwhile Back in Peoria. Check out Midwest Slice of Life. Whatever Marty's working on, he's really putting a lot of effort into it, and he's good. He's got a great track record of success
Thanks.
behind him that it speaks to the quality of his work. So definitely check that stuff out. And thank you so much for agreeing to come back here.
Oh, thanks. I'll come back anytime.
And
It's so much fun.
And thank you for.
I brought Blake to tears.
Yeah.
Now he's going to go to sleep.
Thank you for not. I don't know. I didn't approach you that weirdly, but I've been looking forward to this for a while. Not this specific thing, but meeting you for a
No,
while.
thank you.
I specifically invited Kevin for this reason.
Well, and I really appreciate
It's-
you and
it's-
everybody else that.
It's just really cool.
No,
it's just really cool. I can put myself in your shoes because people have said that to me before. And it's just it's an honor to meet you.
Well, thank you. I mean, no, it's.
No one's ever said that on this show before.
I really probably hasn't.
No, I haven't. All right. Well, this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Later, bitches.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.